Ready to rock.
Let's do it.
Okay, so it's been a long week. It feels like I've had to wait 2 weeks to play this instead of one.
It does kind of feel like it's been a while.
It feels like it's been a while. Okay, so we got through characters session 0 mostly and got all the stuff kind of set up. We are all in. We're all in Halcyon City and set up with our heroes. Since we're streaming and since we got some people who are watching that haven't seen it before, let's just briefly introduce ourselves and talk about your guy. Talk about your guy a little bit. I'll go last. So Sean's on my left there, so I'm gonna have him go.
Cool. Yeah, I will be playing Silas Shepard, hero named Birthright. He's kind of a Nightwing, Robin type character where he doesn't have any powers, but he's really good at fighting people, and just really wants to prove that he's got what it takes to do the superhero gig.
Awesome.
Yeah, there you go. There's his dope picture. He's got the little spinny tonfa things.
Beautiful summary of the whole thing. Very good. All right. Who have we got next? Let's go with. Oh, see, Frank, you just like switched on your camera and suddenly shifted everybody's order here. Let's go to.
He's like, I want to go.
Let's go.
I think that means it's Frank's turn.
Let's go with Andrew.
It totally tracks
He's-
with my
like,
character.
he's
of right
I was
me.
I was just about to say, just disrupting the natural order of things like his character would do.
Exactly. Let's go with
Awesome.
Andrew. Talk about you and talk about
Cool.
your person.
So my name is Andrew. I will be playing Caleb Loshin, aka Revenant, and he summons psychic eldritch horrors. I don't know what else to say.
What's the name of the playbook? That'll explain a lot for people.
I'm playing the Doomed. So it kind of you'll learn more. It'll be great.
We'll learn more. For those
Point of personal privilege.
uh-huh.
I believe we're pronouncing that playbook wrong. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm very new, but if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
Dude, fine.
You gotta put emphasis on the ooh.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Oh.
Now, normally the players don't usually see this, but there is a trick here, and I'm going to mention it in case somebody's running mass or anything like that. It's a pretty good trick, especially if you're doing stuff in Roll20 or any other game where you have the ability to leave yourself GM notes. There are some guides in the mass book for sort of the characters, all the different playbooks and stuff like that. And one of the things there is stuff to do to the characters. It's sort of like you've got this whole list of GM moves here. Somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So there's like all this stuff that you kind of remember to do with when you're GMing, that you can have as like moves when it's your turn to do something when the players screw up. All right. This is like an addendum to that. Oh, and by the way, for this playbook in particular, to hit the themes of that playbook, here's some other stuff. I tend to forget those. So when people make up characters, I grab those notes out of the rule book and I put them into the GM notes on the character sheet. So every time I open up your character sheet, there's a thing there. By the way, you should do this stuff to them. Because they'll hate it, but
Awesome.
they'll love it.
This is going to be an adventure, and I'm excited.
It's not really a secret, but it is there. Frank, why don't you go?
I love that. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Frank, and I am playing Perry Driscoll, aka Fractal. It's the Harbinger. I never know which if it's a soft or hard G. Harbinger. I'm playing the Harbinger playbook. Perry is from the future, and he hasn't exactly sorted out why he's here yet. He has a whole lot of memories about what he has to prevent, and he knows that these are the people that he has to help to do the stuff.
Nice.
But man, those magnets fried my brain.
That character, the playbook, brings back a little bit of PTSD for me because one of my very first online internet arguments was with somebody who was misspelling Harbinger as Harbinger. And had made like an entire faction in an online game, the Harbingers, and I was like, it's Harbingers. Yeah, but that's stupid. So I changed the spelling of it, but it means the same thing. I'm like, you can't just.
That's the same. That's the same guy that thinks every party needs a rouge.
It seems...
I feel like he just didn't want to admit he knew.
No, he
Like,
acknowledged
he was copying wrong.
he knew it was spelled wrong. He just thought it was it should be bringer. There should be a bring in it because they're bringing stuff. So
Harb. They're bringing the harbs.
They're bringing harbs. They're bringing the harbs.
Bring it the harbs.
That's the nice thing about having a mic like this is I can like bang my head on it.
I know. Usually, like when I have mine up, I'm just like,
Okay.
Be nice to your SM7B.
Mo,
makes me cry.
Talk about Mitzi, or talk about you first, and then talk about Mitzi.
yeah. I'm Mo. They she pronouns. I'm gonna play Mitzi Ramirez. She her pronouns. Clarity is her superhero name, and she is the Nova. Basically, just think of like a teenage version of Invisible Woman, and we're gonna go with that.
Cool.
Actually, another that girl from The Incredibles. I forgot her name.
Violet.
Violet, like another like Violet sort of character.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna call it to the people in the chat who suggest that it should be Hairbringer.
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 Bringers of hair.
Oh my god.
It's excellent. And Mo, thank you for reminding me, mentioning pronouns, and that we didn't get off to the right start. We did so well on it last session, then we sort of forgot.
We did.
So if I remember correctly, for the players, Sean is he, him. I will take he, they, whatever makes the speaker comfortable, because I'm a cis white dude. I don't get to be fragile.
Right.
Throw whatever words you would. Call me she. I don't care. Andrew, I don't remember if you specified or what you specified.
Not. Well, I'm he, him.
Okay.
I'm boring.
And Joe? Or Joe.
Same.
Freaking Joe. Frank.
It's my middle name. It's all good.
Your username.
No, I need to switch it for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, him, I'll take they.
Okay. Great. All right. So, yeah, we got going a little bit on this. Did a lot of work on the characters. For those, if anybody's wondering, we got all these little characters, I guess, sketches. The art we did up on Hero Forge because I thought I was going to be the one that opened the gates of that little madhouse, but it was actually Sean that did it first, and then we lost Frank for 3 days when he disappeared into that onto that site. So
Rabbit hole.
that is fine. That is fine. Okay, so we had a few little bits of housekeeping, but I think we're pretty much... I'm just going to look at everybody's character sheet here real quick before we get rolling. I know that Clarity and Birthright were fine, and...
I just need to do relationships, I think.
Yeah, you just didn't do relationships, and I have a thought. Okay, looks like Revenant is still missing a point on his labels, Andrew. So you might want to take a look, because it should add up to 3. You start out with those values, and then you get to add one. You get to pick one and add one. So you start out with a total of 3.
That's an easy one. I know where I want it. So.
It's usually pretty easy. It's usually very
super easy.
Okay. So yeah, we got a few questions that we still need to answer. The one that I think was not relationship related had to do with Perry, aka Fractal, and it had to do with when our team first came together, because we were answering that for pretty much everybody else.
Right.
And it was, the question was, we averted a disaster from the Futures History books. What was the disaster? What effect did we hope it had on the timeline? So we had discussed in our previous, like when the team first came together, correct me if I miss anything here, or add on to this if we miss anything, that there was a fight where the right downtown in this sort of open park with a bunch of statues to Golden Age heroes. Was Mitzi's grandma in there?
Yeah, I think that's why she got extra in trouble.
Oh, so Indigo Girl got melted to slag?
She got the chancla.
Yeah. I got the chocolate.
So yeah, so there's a bunch of statues of some Golden Age heroes and stuff like that, and the whole park got pretty much like cratered. The statues were all messed up, and we weren't able to recover from that because of some stuff that was done during the fight. The whole place is kind of psychically toxic. Is probably the best way to, between the mental powers of Clarity and Revenant's I mean, it's right there in the name. The whole place is a little bit, kind of just a tiny bit haunted, or like toxically infected with psychic energy.
And I just want to go on record and say that none of that was my fault.
None of it was your fault.
I don't have fancy powers.
There was some revelation that maybe this was, and it was like space monkeys from space with like tech and flying around, rocketing and stuff like that. So it was a whole big mess. And the question that gets added to this, because we'd originally started out with Perry being a different playbook, but he ended up with the Harbingers. We averted a disaster from the future history. What was the disaster? What effect do we hope it had on the timeline? So when the team faced the space monkeys, it was supposed to result in an explosion that destroys a huge area of downtown. And so
I mean, millions of dead.
Yeah.
I mean, because Halcyon City is this incredibly compact. Oh, we just haunted a park. Yes, that's so good.
That's only 2 blocks.
It's just haunted. Amazing. We were gonna level an entire district of the city, and it was gonna be our fault. Like the freaking ASB tryhards weren't gonna take the hit for that one. No, that was gonna be on us.
So yeah,
I'm so glad we just and oh my god, and yes, and we defeated the monkeys, so that's great. So maybe my timeline can skip the part of where the Planet of the Apes films are documentaries. So this is great. We just haunted a couple of a park. I mean, I'm sorry about Abuelita Indica. That's a bummer, but on balance,
now it's like a tourist destination. That's practically an upgrade.
Oh my gosh. Sell tickets for people who want to get spooked.
It was a tourist destination before. Now it's just a different one.
Yeah, it's just a different flavor. Everybody just switch it up.
It got rebranded.
And if it's our fault, we're the ones that get to monetize it.
No, we throw routines. I don't think they're allowed to monetize it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure we don't get to make money off of that.
I mean,
and also, I'm pretty sure didn't Aegis put a spin on it, so that we're not. People don't think that we're the people who did that.
Yeah, they haven't. They're trying to keep that as much as possible, sort of under wraps, and yeah, it was. They're pretty much laying a lot of it onto the invaders.
I mean, who doesn't want to blame monkeys for everything?
I mean, sure.
And then also, my thing was I found that they left a homing beacon behind.
Right.
So
because your whole thing with thank you for adding to that. Your whole thing with since you're the beacon, the question was what little signal did you have that this was going to lead to something bigger, that this was all part of something bigger? There's a beacon. Right. There's a beacon. Super. Okay, so clarity. We're going to do some review these relationship questions, but I'm going to kind of put this in a little bit of context here so we can get an idea of what's going on here. So, you're walking down the hallway of school. Nobody's there. Are you in your suit, or are you in your outfit, or are you in clothes?
It's school time. Suits in my
suits where? You broke up a little.
In the bag.
Suits in the bag.
Just have to clarify because sometimes you forget.
Shoes are kind of clicking on but they're echoing. If you've been in the school after hours, before hours, or anything like that, and you know what that feels like. This is completely. I realize if some of you guys are watching the stream, you can see the stuff I have hidden on the GM layer. So shh. Anyway, don't watch the stream. Watch the game. Anyway. GM layers are awesome in Roll20. It's fantastic.
So helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so we've got the hallway here. There's nobody around at all. And you're kind of, walking down the hallway. The doors in the classrooms are all generally open. You do hear a sound up ahead, sort of a I get my mic closer. coming from one of the rooms. What are you doing?
What was that sound? I missed it.
It was sort of a clicking, dragging. You almost recognize it, but you don't recognize it like, oh, I've experienced this before, but you kind of recognize it. It can't be what you think it is. It sounds like chalk on a chalkboard, but you've never been in a school that has chalkboards. So,
Yep.
meh. It sounds like you're hearing somebody writing on a chalkboard.
Yeah, I think
which you only know from like old TV shows or movies or something.
from what I heard about the history lesson and movies. Yeah, I think
Mitzi's
just gonna
olden times.
Yeah. Mitzi's gonna just like stop like walking and try to actually be like more precise with her walking to more sneak.
Kind of sneak up there?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, what you see in the classroom, and it's, basic thing, you got it's high school, definitely. You're pretty sure it's your high school. But yeah, the little chair desk combos all lined up. Whiteboard up at the front. There's letters appearing on the whiteboard, but the sound that's coming from the letters appearing on the whiteboard, there's no pen. There's nobody marker, there's nobody standing there, but as the letters are appearing, the sound that's coming is the sound of chalk on a chalkboard. So the Foley artist.
I see what's being written.
Yes. Yes, you can.
As I'm like poking my head in and like.
It looks like it's been an assignment where somebody's going to get called up to finish the math homework, and it says you hang out all the time with blank to blow off steam.
I love how you're wrapping it in.
I have a plan. I'm like the Cylons.
Did he just break the fourth wall?
Yeah, just a little bit. I think
super hard. I hit that sucker with a mallet. Anyway.
Once the question's finished, does the writing stop or like?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think
there is a marker in the tray.
Okay. Was there a marking moving?
No, there was no marker moving. The letters were just showing up, and the sound. The Foley artist is going to get fired because the sound didn't match up with what you were. Like, what whiteboard squeaky sound. That's not it. It was chalk.
I know. Morgan knows both because I went through those times. Anyways,
remember that old movie? That really, really old movie about high school? The Breakfast Club.
The late 20th century.
The late 20th century. I'm dying a little bit inside right now. All right.
Oh god. Yeah, I think she's gonna sneak in and like make sure that no one in here.
Doesn't seem to be.
And like sort of like do like a hand wave like in that area to make sure she's not touching anybody because.
Yeah, there's nothing. Doesn't seem to be anybody there.
And she's gonna grab the marker then, and you're at the question for a second, and just for Morgan's sake, to get a brief idea of like personalities between all the characters, like can y'all just give me like a 2-sentence maybe like blurb about your guys, like the personalities and stuff?
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. So Silas is kind of very sarcastic and very wisecracking and very funny and like light and easy to hang out with, but also doesn't really open up about like personal stuff a whole lot. He's kind of like, I'm going to keep all my feelings right here, and then someday I'll die. And that's kind of his thing.
Love that.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that was amazing.
How about Caleb?
So Caleb is just he's a punk rocker, like pretty like hardcore into the punk scene, but also like very overprotective and like kind of aggressive in his comebacks and like snapbacks at people like who mess with his people.
He's like mother henning everybody.
Yeah, a little bit. Like a little bit of the like, no, I don't want to do this, but I'll hurt you. Like, stop it.
Caleb's the kid from the punk scene that turns into the coolest grandpa ever.
Yeah.
If he makes it that long.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always one big dude at every punk show who stands in the back, and when somebody starts like crowd killing, he's like, "Not in my city, motherfucker." And so I feel like that's him.
That's basically.
I love it. And Perry, what in school?
Perry,
like around
in school. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is that think of Perry as like a rapid cycler, but not for the reasons you might think. So at times, super like into what is happening, very enthusiastic, will absolutely diffuse tense situations with whimsy, but also sometimes drifts off in the middle of a sentence, completely dissociating what you made from outward appearances looks like really depressed and just sort of on another planet. So, but with an expression that more confused than it's rough, but he's constantly back and forth between extremes. Basically, his pendulum rarely, if ever, stops in the middle.
Gotcha.
Just for y'all to know, for Mitzi, she's like the artsy girl. Like she like typically like in her journals doodling. Like if she's ever in class, she passes, but like barely, because she's usually daydreaming and like doodling. And you'll see her usually like in art classes, just like covered in stuff like that. And she's sweet, she's caring, she's forgetful, and it's just, I don't know. She's just like one of those things where she's like, oh no, you don't know her superhero side as well. Like she's like, it's kind of just like thrust upon her to be this way. So she's
right.
Goes through some times with it.
And I will say, just because of the playbook, there's a lot of ways you could go with it. You could easily reskin this character and go, "You're a legacy." But as the Nova, it's definitely a situation where, and I think this is one of the questions I don't know if you answered all the way. Is like, who helps you kind of like deal with controlling your powers? And maybe it's your advice from your abuela, but I
think it's the abuela actually. Like, yeah,
that would be great. One of the frustrating things about that conversation is you are way more powerful than she ever was. So a lot of things like how do you deal with the fact like if you use it too much, it starts to like sort of like echo in your head and it gets more and more and more, and you've got to like put it. That never happened to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
She's like Rachel Gray.
Yeah. So it's just just adding that layer there. So back to the original thing here.
Yes.
And I like, honestly, in the comic book a little bit. If this, if this is the comic book, you're like looking at the story, and we get a couple of like frames of you interacting with other people in the group, in the team that Team Struggle Bus, and getting a sense a little bit of what those various characters are, right? We got Caleb the musician and the artsy thing, and then conversations where Perry's like super animated, and then kind of at one point in time is just kind of like, and like snapping finger, like, Perry, come back, man. So little
Perry.
comic frames for each one of these things and then coming back to you still looking at the board.
Yeah. And I think with that, just because of his whimsy and just like his I don't want to call it erratic maybe behavior on occasion. I think she'll hangs out with Perry a lot just because it's fun.
It's crazy, a little bit.
It's sporadic. It's speaking.
Yeah, if you need to blow.
Thank you for editing. I was about to type it in.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You can absolutely do that. Just holler if you're in there.
Okay. Does the next question pop up too?
While you're thinking about that, I put the image of a pendulum in everyone's head. It's important that you know that it's a double bar pendulum, not a regular ball on the end of a single thing. Just so we know.
It's hard to predict what's going to be happening there. So are you writing Perry like into the blank?
Yeah, left-handed cursive writing. That's her.
Oh, old school.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're writing that in there, getting it up there, the chalk, and when you're writing, it sounds like a marker. But the chalkboard sound starts up too, and underneath of that comes in
She'll
blank.
probably jump back and make sure that like she's out of the way.
Yeah, like
for
what?
Whoever's...
But it's just appearing on the thing with this chalkboard sound, and it says blank turns away from the hero's path according to your history books. You have to prevent that from happening. And you're like, sorry, what? And Perry next to you goes, I think this one's for me.
Motherfucker.
This is so meta, and I love it.
This is the best way to do backstory.
Harry, I swear to God, you need to just
What?
have a bell on you.
Well, why? Then everybody could hear me when I was coming.
Exactly.
Well, that doesn't sound fun for me at all.
I mean, do you see this though? I'm already dealing with weird meta shit. Like,
Well,
she points
I
at the
mean,
board.
sure, but I mean, everybody knows that Birthright completely just goes down this weird spiral, and I mean, we just gotta keep an eye on Birthright. Is all I'm saying. Okay, don't make a big deal about it.
Oh, so that's your answer
But-
for
Yeah, I just hold on a second. Let me.
her. And she hands over the marker.
It's already written. I don't know how that happened.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Yes. You go to hand him the marker so he can fill it in, and you look back at the board, and it's actually already been done. You know what? You look at it, and it's already been done, and then as you're looking, the final T crosses itself. Like, just a little bit right there. Birthright. You're sitting in one of those desks. Not in that room, just in a room.
I was saying, God damn, who else is going to speak up?
You're sitting in a desk in a classroom. There's nobody else there. And you have one of those composition books where you've got like an assignment thing, like you've got the rubric for this assignment, like a little square one that they hand out, like this is what you need to write on. Right. It's blank, but it's stapled up into the corner of the sheet. Confused about what I need to be putting the lid on here. And your two relationship questions are handwritten. It's your handwriting.
Right.
On
I
this,
hope so.
On this page, yeah. So you find yourself in the desk. You're looking down at the thing, and then on the comic, we get like a close up of the composition page. So what's written there? This essay that you've written.
Yeah. So Revenant's awesome. I take every chance I get to hang out with him. As long as the conversation sticks to cool music and awesome fights and doesn't try to bring up personal stuff, we'll be the best of pals.
That's a big if. I'm just going to say. It's a big if.
Good luck with that. And so I've got to prove myself to Clarity before I feel like a real hero. She inherited ancestral powers that her own mother didn't have, but I didn't. So despite that, I want to show her I can be just as valuable of a team member.
Oh, bud.
She says that from the desk next to you.
Because I'm looking over, just
She's looking over his homework.
I'm just writing. It's a fan fiction. It's not even real. It's not real life. It's don't even
on my
don't read
teaching.
that.
This is just. I had. This is the.
Oh my God.
It's just a writing prompt.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we had this
Hypotheticals.
dumb assignment, and I had to make up. We're not even supposed. People aren't even supposed to know we're heroes, and I have to turn this into my teacher. And so I was just making something up. It's not real. Don't like all coincidental things. The thing that plays at the end of Law and Order. That's the disclaimer here that I'm trying to get across.
In my head, I just heard the dun dun. I'm
Sorry, I got a little boom power there for a second.
I mean, it was
Caleb-
pretty good though.
So Caleb is standing up at the head of the class in front of the whiteboard, holding the marker, and he, if you don't mind me putting a line into your mouth for a second, is going. Were we not supposed to share this with everybody? And he's up on the board. He's got written. Tell me the two things that are written up on the board. So this is Clarity is here, and Clarity and Birthright are both here, and this is Revenant up at the board.
Okay, so I'm gonna like point and be like, but I already told I told Clarity that this bad thing's gonna happen. That my mom's ghost is trying to kill me. Like, that's what's happening.
So it says up here, you told,
Yeah.
and then there's the underline, but he wrote in Clarity, different handwriting.
But you can't read it. Like, you can't read it. I have to read it to you. That's how bad his handwriting is.
What does that even say except for Clarity? No, the rest of the question, because it says, you told all about your doom and the danger you're in. Who does that even say? That's your name. How?
It's like just a Charlie Brown teacher.
You don't spell it with an X. What is that? That's not an X. That's a C. How? Anyway. And the next question is, you want to. The last one is, you want to kiss blank before your doom comes, and the kiss is scribbled out. Something else is written above it, and then the blank is filled in with.
So I'm gonna write in the blank and just like go. You guys can't read that, right? Like, can you guys read that? It says, "Here, I'll draw you a picture to help." And I'm gonna draw a picture of a little tonfa, and then arms over the other word. It's like, I just need to give Birthright a hug. That's all I want in life.
As near
I
as
just
you
feel
can tell,
he needs a hug.
As near as you can tell, he wants to strangle Barcelona. That's how bad his handwriting is.
I mean, let's be real. That does not sound out of character.
So yeah.
So Birthright, on seeing that, he's wearing a hoodie, and he kind of like puts the hood up and like pulls the strings, so the whole thing closes.
Whoop. Whoop. Zink.
Perfect.
I love it. I love it. Who are we? We did both of those. We did both of yours.
You didn't do the second for
we-
Perry's
we-
or
Or Mitzi yet. Hang on. I'm just figuring out right order.
that's well. And my second one's
Okay, so on the next sort of board over from where Revenant's got all of his stuff up there on the board, the chalk sound starts again, and
Mitzi jumps.
At one point it does that really annoying like the chalk when they get it wrong, and it that sound that makes everybody kind of wince.
Oh.
And and
so weird that baboons are extinct, but we still, everybody's back gets up when we hear that sound because it's the exact same frequency as their alarm call. That's your hindbrain telling you something's wrong, even though baboons haven't existed on this planet in like 250 years. So
Perry,
Is that
yeah?
What?
What?
Perry, we still got baboons.
We still have baboons.
They're,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Watch out for those little. We got to keep an eye on the baboons, man.
I watched The Lion King. I know.
you
Okay.
and primates have like a bad history. So
they're devilishly clever. You know, I'm saying like, you know,
what's going up on the board?
you sorry. Okay.
This is, and Perry's walking in while he's having he walks in. It's like, you know, man, something about that sound, man. If it weren't for that, he said, like, he's doing this thing you guys are talking about. And meanwhile, in the back on the board, so you've always idolized blank, but it's too awkward to admit it to them now that you've met them in real life. Keep it cool, man. Keep it cool. And he turns around and looks at the. Everybody's here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna baboons, man. I'm gonna. Why is there a bagel in my pants? I'm just gonna sit in the back here for a minute, and
We're just leaving that one blank. You're just walking away from that one while
it's yeah. But as I walk
my
away,
God.
like it's as if it has already like it has already been written. It just says Revenant right across there.
Yep.
Like I'm not sure how, when, in which timeline it happened, but Revenant is clearly on the board.
So
in that spot.
As he's walking away, the chalkboard thing starts going again. He's like,
God damn it.
And then he thinks the thing that only time travelers and Steve Urkel think, which is,
Did I do that?
Hey, who? What is that? John Mulaney?
Yeah. half of my sense of humor is just John Mulaney quotes. You're gonna.
There's nothing wrong with that. John
You
Mulaney.
could do worse. You could do a lot worse.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
on the leftmost panel, the last one that's left open, the last one that fills out is you once hurt blank when you lost control of your powers. And
I think just Mitzi just is sitting on a desk now, like cross-legged, like
yeah,
and just staring at it, just trying to be like, "Oh God, which time?"
Okay, but is she sitting like in the chair of the desk, or
No,
like
on the desk.
Okay, now is it one of the desks that has the front two legs though, or does it just have the four legs and then the like platform goes over, and so like you're like teetering and tottering and like balancing with your?
I mean, she has telekinesis. She can just make it balance.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I'm just curious
That's
about the
just
visual.
floating.
Yeah, I think it's the one without the front legs. It's just the
anyone
one
looking
where-
at this would be like, okay, she's clearly doing something because she's cross-legged on the thing that should collapse at this point in time and probably hurt somebody, and she's just sitting there. Because remember, what I think we established last session, it was definitely like she uses her powers constantly, right? It's just like a third arm.
Yeah.
Unconsciously.
I think after looking at it, staring at it, it's just gonna make the pin float up.
Oh, okay.
Because she doesn't. It's hovering there for a second because she's like, it was. I think it was the first time we met too, and I think she's gonna write down birthright.
Birthright.
Yeah.
So somewhere during that big fight, you hurt him. What was that?
I think he was running in to do like because you're hand to hand mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're running in to do like hand to hand stuff, and I was starting to like get really emotional, and I was trying to get a little erratic. And with that, I kind of let out like a little like blast in the area, like a little like pulse, and you were just right there, and it threw you back so hard. I was so worried that you like broke your back or something, or yeah, it was.
It's got really good shock absorption in the
Got to, man.
in the suit.
Yeah, so I threw you back, and I think you were one of the things that broke the statues.
I was.
Yeah, because I threw you back so hard, I like threw your statue back.
That's when things started to get bad. Yeah.
That's great.
Everyone should know, like, Novas in Masks and like wizards in D&D both lack. They in order to be able to control all of their powers, they've given up space in their brain to controlling that power that would normally be used for giving a shit about area of effect attacks and whether or not it will hurt. Yeah, collateral damage. They did that's they can't do that math anymore. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's like a bullet that my party members. Yeah,
a bullet might have your name on it, but a fireball is addressed to whom it may concern.
And honestly, she didn't realize you were right there. Like she thought she was like.
Because I mean, given given Birthright's sort of angle on things and how he would probably approach a fight, he's probably coming in to save somebody, and you're trying to do the same thing and end up, it can be a hot mess.
Did you write that? Did you write that fireball line? That's
Of
brilliant.
course I did. I don't have any original
That's
comedy.
one of
Are
the-
you kidding me?
God.
That is there's actually, if you search hard and like the right stuff, you can get you can start getting stuff in your For You page that is essentially people telling D&D dad jokes.
Essentially,
And
yeah.
they are chef's kiss. I think the one, what happens when a dark elf casts sleep on you? You get drowsy.
Get out.
Yes, that happened. That happened.
Oh my god.
I'm not mad about it.
No.
My wife just is watching the stream in the other room and just came in here to remind me that most of my humor actually comes from her and wants that to be shown on the record.
Okay.
So.
Let the record show.
Oh, that's amazing.
Let the record show you married up. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So your pen
Reminded every day.
your pen comes up and fills out the birthright thing, and I'm just gonna change the layer on this one. There we go. All right. That's good work, everybody. Andrew, you can sit down. Not Andrew. Caleb, you can sit down now. Just go on back there. Well, we have.
Whatever.
I saved you a spot, man.
Thanks.
Who was speaking?
This check out the Roll20 map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I
It's
think
great.
we
Do you
have
have a cigarette?
no, it's a piece of chalk.
Oh, I thought it was a cigarette.
This is like glowing.
My guy.
I was like,
Yeah, actually it does have a bit of a glow to it. The stick of chalk does have a bit of a glow to it. Well, I think we've just done top-notch work here. This is just great. I think everybody's just. I think it's going to be great. There's great ideas for your final essay. I think we can really use this to grow as people and grow as heroes. I think yes, in the back, Mitzi. Sorry, Clarity.
Hi. Who are you?
I'm the teacher. I'm your teacher. I'm here to help you. I really think we're all here to help each other. And we should just, for you, I think if you, let's talk a little bit about your answers. And then the board is full up with everybody's stuff.
Oh.
Like all the different answers, and they're kind of categorized. Everybody's color coded, so Mitzi's is more of a pink. I don't know what Caleb's marker color would probably be. Birthright's black. That's going to be easy enough. For some reason, I just have this sense that Perry's is like the marker color changes randomly from word to word, and the letters are like individually capitalized.
Does it also change like font style too?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just like
ugh.
yeah.
I hate it.
Got like little notes. on
That's
the
awesome.
side.
I hate it. Yeah.
Basically, the title card from Loki. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
That's it. There it is.
that's a good one. Yeah.
So, I think, Mitzi, I think it's very clear that you're having a little bit of trouble with power control. We just need to, what you need to do, you need to clamp that down. You need to really just stop with that. You're letting it go too much. You should just, generally, I think you control it more if you just use it a lot less. You're letting it get out there into the world. It's endangering people. It's causing a lot of difficulty, and it's just a little bit scary for a lot of folks. What you need to do is just kind of embrace this more. You should be, hang out with your friends, socialize more. Have you thought about joining like a club in the school, something like that that's going to let you just, talk more with regular people? I think that
You mean the art club
well, not
that I'm a part of?
I don't know if artists are really going to be the best thing for you in the long term. That's really taking you down a path that is, I don't know if that's really going to be a healthy path for you long term. I was thinking something more. Have you thought about the mathletes? And don't worry, Perry, I'll get to you in just a minute. But no, I think a little bit more normal and a little bit less craziness would be a better idea here. And
Art is normal.
she's trying to what she's doing is trying to shift your labels. Let's talk about this a little
Oh
bit.
no!
We haven't talked about this. We haven't really talked about
God.
any of the moves in the game, so let's talk a little bit about this. So the game masks, we're all teenagers, but more to the point, we are people who are very susceptible to what the world thinks about them because we're still trying to figure out who we are. Okay? And that is reflected somewhat by who has influence over us and who we listen to. It's not like they can tell you what to do. It isn't even whether or not they can say you should do this thing and you go and do it. It's about whether or not their words hit, whether or not they land, whether or not they're going to resonate, or just you can't get them out of your head when they say it. You may not like somebody, but if they say something nasty to you, you're going to have that in the back of your head, playing in the back of your head all the damn time. That eventually goes away. Obviously, as soon as you're not a teenager anymore, that just stops.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how.
This is why I say that Mask is. They say Mask is a teenager superhero game, and that's bullshit. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one of the things that happens here is your labels are actually fluid, and this is not really a powered by the apocalypse thing. This is a more unique to Mask thing. Mostly powered by the apocalypse stats are relatively static. That's not true in this game. They slide all over the place all the time because you're trying to figure out who you are. But to a certain extent, it boils down to consequences of things that have happened and also the words of people who have influence on you. Unfortunately, as a teenager, everybody has influence over you. Basically, any adult, those words land. Whether you like them or not, whether you've even met them before or not, for some reason, they just have that little thing clicking away in the back of your head. So, if you look over on the sidebar where your character sheets and stuff are at, under the handouts, I've got a couple of little things so you guys can see, like some references and that kind of thing. And there are some moves there. The basic moves we'll get into a little bit later. We're not really doing necessarily those right now, although we might pretty soon. If you look at the little handout for peripheral moves, Frank, you may not be able to get to it. In this case, you might want to look at the. You know what? I can share.
Drop it in the Discord.
Or I can send a PDF to people.
Yeah, why don't you or throw the PDF up in the text chat of the general? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll do basic moves and playbooks. So
yeah, well, he's got the playbooks. If you had the basic moves, peripheral moves, and stuff like that, I'll get these reference documents up.
There you go, basic moves
over to folks. Thank you. So under the peripheral moves. Talking a little bit about influence. When somebody has influence over, it means you care about what they do, what they say, what they think. At any time, you can give influence to any character who doesn't have influence over you. All adults have influence over you when you're first introduced. This is a core part of the game, and it's one of the reasons, Frank, that the original character that you were looking at was such a weird character to approach because they don't have influence work that way. But that's a side note.
And this is the exact opposite of that because everybody gets influence over me at the beginning.
And that's how. Kind of.
Yeah.
So when you have influence, the nice thing is when you have influence over somebody, you get a bonus to certain moves. So if you're trying to influence them, if you're trying to talk them up, and also if you're trying to comfort and support them, it hits different. So you get bonuses to that. You can also take advantage of your influence over someone. You can give up that influence. You can say something that's harsh enough that they're like, you know what? Screw you, man. I'm not listening to anything you have to say right now. But that last thing that you say lands, so you can use that influence to give them a penalty on their roll, give them a condition, or take an additional bonus when you're trying to do a move that targets them. And this is the more important thing, and certainly this is a section that comes up a lot when someone with influence over you tells you who you are and how the world works. You either accept what they say or you have to reject their influence. If you accept what they say, then the labels move accordingly. So what she's trying to do is freak down and mundane up. You need to be
I didn't realize my mundane was so low.
She thinks you need to be a little bit more normal and a little bit less crazy pants. She is every Midwestern great aunt that I have ever had in my life, and I apologize on behalf of the evil that's gonna. No, sorry. If you accept what they say, then we adjust the labels accordingly. If you want to keep your labels the way they are, you have to reject their influence. And unlike almost every other move in the game, you don't roll. You have to roll to resist, but you don't add anything. You just roll and hope for the best. So it is just naked dice out there on the table for this kind of thing. To reject someone's influence, you have to roll, and then it kind of shakes out from there. So I'm just explaining that in anticipation of the conversation that we're likely to have here, because my question then to Mitzi is, are you letting that land, or are you resisting that?
No, I don't know her. She's trying to change me who I am.
F
How
that
dare she
lady.
say I won't get anywhere? Fuck that
Freaking
lady.
teachers.
Right. Fuck that lady.
I walk into this classroom and teachers just immediately think they know exactly, got this perfect read on me, and they're just gonna tell me who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
so
if you reject, if you can see the move, read it out here. If you reject someone's influence?
Yeah, when you reject someone's influence roll, on a hit, you successfully hold to yourself and tune them out. On a 10 plus, choose 2. On 79, choose 1.
And we'll worry about the choices after we get into the thing.
On a miss, their words hit you hard, marking condition, and the GM will adjust your labels.
Yeah. So going to take a look at, if you look at the character sheet, and you guys any of you can pull up either Clarity's character sheet or just your own. The sheet's been set up to, I'm going to be able to skip a lot of this stuff as we get going, but this first session we're going to be explaining a little bit of this. The sheet's been set up to help you roll stuff. So for example, on Mitzi's character sheet, in the active moves, you can actually say like what label is attached to that particular move, so you don't have to go looking or click someplace else. You can just hit the little dice roll there and it'll roll for you. But also, if you just have to make a roll and you want to roll danger, you can click the little dice button next to danger and it'll roll for you and ask you if you have any extra things. Conveniently, there's a flat D6 down there at the bottom of your stats that you can just roll to do stuff like rejecting somebody's influence or any custom rolls that you have. And you can also roll your conditions, because sometimes it asks you for various moves and stuff like that to roll, and it'll automatically roll the dice and add however many conditions you have marked, which is it might come up. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that it comes up. Anyway. So, yeah, got your flat D6. Let's have the first official roll of the game.
Hey, situational bonus penalty, 0. No!
Oh!
I'm going to mark potential, though.
Now, I'm just going to throw this out here because there's one more mechanic that this lets me say, because actually this is a perfect kind of landing. So there's a couple different things that happen here. One, she misses. Right? It does not go, the words hit hard. Right? But it's a 6. So let's talk about the range. I need to do a TikTok on this, but I want to talk about the range, because people talk about, oh, well, you roll 2d6 and you just like 2d6 because you like bell curves. That's not what I like about Powered by the Apocalypse games. What I like about Powered by the Apocalypse games is that middle range, because what it does is if you roll a 6 or lower, it's a miss, or it's, yeah, you get exactly what you want and you wish to hell it hadn't happened. I like that in Star Wars games. It's like, oh, I want to grab that guy with telekinesis. Okay, cool. You're force choking him, and you're kind of like there's a red haze in your vision. It's because 3s on force use is whatever. So 6 and down, miss. If you can get a 10 or higher, everything is exactly the way you envisioned it happening. And in that middle range from 7 to 9, which if you know bell curves, you know that's where the dice want to land anyway. Is an area where you get what you want, but you're probably paying a little bit of a price. Okay? And honestly, game systems that don't have that middle ground, that pay the price, it's a hard sell for me not to play those, because I love that result so much. So she's got a 6. She's just done. She's not just done though. Because there's a little thing, if you look at the and you can't see it on the playback, you can't see it on the stream, but down in the bottom left-hand corner, there's this little red explosion with a number 1 in it. That is the current amount of team that your team has, because you have 1, because it just started out with 1 at the beginning of things. And team is it's a pretty straightforward mechanic. it's the helping mechanic. You don't have to roll to help out somebody in Mask. You just have to have the resources to do it as a team. And if you don't have it as a team, you don't have it. What this means is really, really simply is I want to be able to help this person. I want to be able to say something, do something, throw a freaking manhole cover to block the shot that's about to hit him in the back, whatever. You describe it, you spend a point a team, and that gives them a +1. Okay? There's 1 point in there right now, 1 point in the pool right now. So somebody could say, well, hang on, I can say a little supporting things like she's full of bullshit. Don't tune her ass out and spend that point a team, and that would be enough to move her from a 6 to a 7, which gets her from a failed state to that middle hit.
I was just saying, I feel like that's Revenant's line right there.
Yeah,
lots of people, certainly lots of people could say it, but at the same time, I also want to make sure that we understand that if somebody doesn't want the help, you might say it. Now, there's no reason that you wouldn't say it. Not saying you can't. No, don't say that. You can absolutely say it. Whether or not it actually gives her the bonus is entirely Mitzi's player's call, because she might want the XP. Give me that XP. Yeah. That's the other key thing about Mass is if you roll a fail, as a little salve on the wounds, you get a point of XP, and you need like 5, and then you can advance your character. So failure. You learn forward. You learn from failures. You learn from your mistakes. So, do you want the help, or do you want to let it sit with the fail?
You know what? Just because we started it, I kind of just
You broke up.
You just don't want to like recalibrate what everybody's notion of scary is?
So, you broke up a little bit, but I want to.
So I'm going to keep it.
You're going to keep it. Let it ride. Okay. Yeah. So, 100%. If Caleb is saying, oh, "Dude, just full of shit. Just tune that." Like all of that stuff is happening, and I don't know if anybody else is saying anything, whether Birthright, whether you said anything, or made any kind of sign of solidarity. Say so, but it's not the kind of thing that's kind of landing and giving you that bonus. So. Let's look back at the move here real quick and see how that thing shakes out. You want to read that miss thing? I think it's convenient.
On a miss, their words hit you hard. Mark a condition, and the GM will adjust your labels.
Okay, so I'm moving the labels as indicated. I'm just going to follow with what. And you can move them too. But we're going to move the freak down to a 1.
I'll let you touch them. Yeah.
And the mundane goes up to a 0. So that's a thing. And then I think. I'm going to have you decide what condition that gives you. Out of these, you'll see on the right-hand side of the character sheet, the 5 conditions that you can pick up: afraid, angry, guilty, insecure, or hopeless.
I think that's going to make her a little
insecure.
Just because this random adult feels like she's telling her who she should be. She thinks she knows who she's supposed to be, but adult. She's trying to tell her who to be. Yeah.
So she's just watching and smiling and stuff, and as those words hit, and you're starting to just kind of feeling all of this, and like how can they read me like that, and all that kind of stuff. She kind of nods to herself, like, yes, job done, and hello. She kind of nods to herself like job done, and then she does this, like reaches over with the chalk. Now again, the mark on the board isn't a chalk mark, but she kind of slashes through both of your answers, like checking it off, kind of a thing. Not exactly a check. The slash is interesting because you can kind of see through, like the board kind of. It's like if you had a membrane stretched really tight and then you cut it with a scalpel and it stretched a little bit, and you can see through that mark into a space that gives you a bad feeling.
I don't like it. And also, I think Mitzi's just getting upset and gonna start swinging legs down so she catches herself so she doesn't fall, because the desk now starts falling forward.
Oh,
she's not even using her powers anymore. Yeah.
Oh, so you have to kind of catch yourself and get back into the chair. So there's all this hubbub and everything.
I don't think she even gets back in the chair. She just stands up and then she's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think just because she's getting more upset, I'll let you go. But she's in her emotions right now, standing there. So.
All right, the bell hasn't rung yet, Mitzi. Just sit down if you need a moment, just to kind of, get yourself together. That's fine. Just, have a seat, and if you have any water with you in your bag or anything, just have a little bit of that.
Like slink into her chair, her head on the desk.
Okay. I can tell Andrew wants a piece of this. He's looking at the. He's looking at the camera. He's looking at the camera like, I am gonna fucking punch my own monitor right now. I
have contained my rage for as long as possible.
So while she she pats her down into the thing, she comes over here and she's looking at the whiteboard and kind of thinking, Caleb, let's talk about inappropriate emotions. And she turns back to the rest of the class. Let's talk about expressing ourselves in ways that are healthy, in ways that are better and more acceptable to those around us, that don't make people feel uncomfortable. Why would you want to just, without any kind of permission or anything, just reach out and hug people? That doesn't seem very welcome. I just think you need to think about that a little bit and maybe just use those smarts up there. Kind of just a little bit more planning, a little bit more thought going in before you just act. What do you think about that? Do you think we can probably get to a place where that? And again, go ahead.
So first of all, lady, when did I ever say I was going to hug somebody without their permission? You're making assumptions based on your observations. Leave me out of them.
Well, okay. I do make quite a few observations. That is true.
Yeah, and they're wrong, clearly.
I'm just saying, I think it would help you a little bit more if we just thought a little bit more and felt a little bit less. And she is trying to shift your mundane down and your superior up. A little bit more thinky, a little bit less feely. How do you feel about that?
I'm not about that. I'm not a thinker. There's a reason.
There's a reason superior is -1, yeah.
Exactly. There's a reason it's already there.
I have an intelligence of 6. I know what I'm doing.
And I am extremely confident in my competence.
Yes, kiddo.
Okay, so, and I want to make it clear, if anybody wants to jump in and say something like, hey, can I figure out what's going on with that weird rift thing on the board, any of that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm just monologuing. So by all means, jump in. But
weird space shit isn't exactly my forte.
I'm just saying, yeah.
I wonder what Perry's doing.
By the same token, Birthright, if you feel like I want to just kind of take one for the team here and kind of draw her fire to keep people up, there's that kind of thing, just to kind of, that I'm just saying these options are out
John
there.
Bender it, and just
we're not. Well, savior blocking defending somebody isn't just like coming up with the shield and the block. It can be socially tanking stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to feel like we're on an initiative system or anything like that. We got a moment to talk, and it's like, hey, I'd kind of like to be doing something right now. Say so. Just say so, because that's kind of where this is at. But first of all, these words, these things, we're not liking them.
yeah.
No.
But it has a weight and a power in this space that just feel like there's something about a teacher saying, this is how things are. This is really what I think you should be doing, and having that guidance counselor voice on that. It kind of reminds you of your mom.
Oh, that's a bad thing. Oh, that's a bad thing.
So again, we're going to go back to that same move here real quickly. When you want to, because it sounds like you're resisting when you reject someone's influence, roll on a hit. You successfully hold to yourself and tune them out. On 10-1, you can choose 2 things off this list. On a 7-9, choose 1. And again, that's just that flat roll to see how that goes for how this lands with Caleb. Ooh. That's nice. That's nice. Now we're in the middle here again, and this is an interesting one. We've gotten 2 rolls right in a row that are on that cusp where that team can help. Because you got that 6 that can go to a 7 and get you into the 7-9. You've got that 9 that can get you up to a 10 and really lock things in. So those options are certainly there right now. So, but I like the options here. Let's take a look at that move real quick. And you reject someone's influence. Roll on 10 plus. You get to choose 2. On 7-9, choose 1. Your options are clear a condition. You don't have that right now, or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong. I know that sounds really delicious.
Yes.
Now, and I want to point out that's the only move that requires that you immediately act to prove them wrong. The other 2 aren't like that. Shift 1 label up and 1 label down, your choice. Okay. And just kind of quietly just tune them out and do your thing. I'm not sure quietly and Caleb.
That's not a thing.
Yeah. And finally, cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them. And that's a fun hit to go with. It's saying, yeah, actually, yeah, adults all have influence on me, but not that one. Not that one. And then you get a +1 forward against them, which means on your next action against them, you got a bonus to your whatever it is that you're doing, whatever that happens to be. So those are your options. You get to pick one, and you know, the labels don't shift. That's the main thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the +1 against her going forward.
Okay. All right. So cancel that. So, and it's important to note, cancel the influence. So what I would do, on your character sheet for yours, just so you can keep track of this, because it may come up in the future. Under the influence stuff, down in the bottom right-hand corner, if you scroll down a bit, there's an influence section. Who you have influence over. Okay. And you have influence over everybody right now. I would add and put in teacher does not have influence over me, or teacher no influence. Something that fits and something that will remind you that they don't have influence. Eventually,
that line writes itself.
I was going to write something really mean, and I was like, no, just write teacher no influence.
Teacher can suck it. Anyway,
that's exactly what I was going to
put. Perfect.
Okay. Caleb, it doesn't seem like you're being very receptive to the work that we're trying to do in the class right now.
That's because you don't know what you're talking about.
I think
Go ahead.
I think we should probably take that outside of the class to have a little talk about that. So when the bell rings, I'd like you to stay after for a little bit. And these, what would it be? I need a good school themed thing.
What do you mean?
Mascot?
The desk, like where you're at, because you've been kind of gripping the desk. The desk pieces, I shouldn't say the pieces, but the desk itself kind of warps and bends a little bit. What's the thing with the watches or the clocks dripping off the side of things? Who's that?
Salvador Dali.
So yeah, they get all kind of wrappy and kind of wrap around your hands and legs and stuff like that, and kind of lock you into things. You're going to stay after class. We'll just have a little bit more of a talk about that afterwards. And you guys can see this happening. You can see that this desk is kind of trying to.
Yeah, Is it? Can I kind of gather that it's Revenant getting upset at this, and that's what's causing this, or do you think she's causing it?
She is doing. You've seen what Revenant stuff looks like. This doesn't look like it's on brand. And she kind of takes this with her chalk and says, "I think you're just going to have to wait after class, and we'll talk about this." And then she's sort of waving and doing that. That's the thing is happening. And she turns around and does another slash through all of Revenant stuff up on the board, and we get another one of those gaps.
So that's about as much bullshittery as Birthright is willing to tolerate. And so he immediately stands up and says, "Hey, lady, I don't know what kind of interdimensional space portal you stumbled out, but where I come from, Greenville, North Carolina, we have a saying, and that saying is mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. So maybe you shouldn't stumble in here telling everybody what for and stumble out of here and let us do our job and go and tell some people your Buddhist propaganda, whatever, somewhere else where people care.
Buddhist propaganda. I wanted that whole thing to be like Greenville, North Carolina, go Warthogs. Anyway, just tag in San Dimas football, high school football rules.
I love that the Buddhists have propaganda now.
I mean, all right. I'm going to direct you once again to the peripheral move sheet. Are you standing up for this or just saying this from your desk?
So again, still kind of like learning the rules, but I figured that would be like would that be a defend because I'm kind of standing up for my friends?
It's probably that. But first, first of all, actually, there's one question I want to clarify real quick. I think pretty much everybody in the team gives out enough influence, or the choices that they made gave out enough influence so that everybody pretty much has influence over everybody. Sort of, except for one exception. I think one person only gives out influence to two people. I think that
only give out influence to two people.
So I need to know who you give out influence to.
It's going to be Birthright and Mitzi.
Okay, so for both of you, please add to your list of influence there. Add that you've got Revenant on there as well. You're the only one I didn't know because everybody else gives out either 3 or just everybody. So that covers. In your case, I want to know what it was. So that's a thing here. I want to know that. And that's important for this next thing. So technically it's a defend, but are you standing up when you're saying this kind of a deal?
Absolutely. I like kick the desk over. I'm full John Bender mode at this point.
Oh, I love it. Take a look at the sheet on peripheral moves. And on the sheet for peripheral moves, there's a mechanic on the bottom left-hand corner called Team Mechanics. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team. Okay? So, when you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, immediately add 2 points to the team pool. Okay? 2. Then you have to figure and then there's a couple of questions we need to answer. Does the leader have influence over every teammate? And I'm going to say, because of that lovely speech, that the leader for this particular conflict, and it changes every time, is Birthright. So, Birthright, do you have influence over every teammate?
That is an excellent question. So I know I have it over Revenant, and do I have it over Mitzi and Perry?
Yep.
You do.
They give influence.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
Because with Mitzi, I have a happy facade, so that's why everybody gets one.
Yep. There's 2 different ways Nova can go, either basically nobody or a lot of people. So you have, I just want to point that out. If you look at your character sheet, on the character sheet down bottom right past your drives, and we'll need to, I'm going to add Revenant on there because he just added you. You see the people that you have influence over, and that's kind of where you track it. Also where you can track, if you get influence over an NPC, I encourage people to track it on here. Like people I have influence over, because influence over the other characters is sort of tracked on their sheet, but it'll help both of us remember, like, oh yeah, that news reporter from KGN Halcyon 5 or whatever likes me.
Right.
That kind of stuff is super helpful to have on there. So you have influence over every teammate, so that's another one. So we got to 2, we're up to 3. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight. All right. So
I think we all hate this lady at this point.
Oh, Birthright's gotten up, and obviously something's about to happen here, and things are about to throw hands. I think it's clear. You should all realize by this point in time that this environment is weird as hell. So something is up. Birthright, what's your sort of purpose in this? What's your purpose in the fight?
Yeah, well, my thing is that, at first I was kind of just sitting back because I didn't want to get involved in the feelings talk. But now that shit's melting, I definitely want to shut this shit down because she seems like she's probably like a supervillain.
The idea here is I want to send her. The message I got from your speech was I want to send her back to wherever the hell she came from.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just looking at that comment. Thank you for giving credit where it's due. I can't remember.
Oh, that's my wife.
Oh,
Talking about
there we go.
My sense of humor.
Nice, excellent. What about you? What about you, Caleb? Revenant, what's your purpose in this?
My purpose is to get her out of here. I do not want her around any of my friends.
Gotcha.
Like, she needs to get out.
All right. What about you, Perry?
Well, I'm just back here thinking about how the Buddhists actually do have propaganda, and it's very subtle. Because if you think about it, the Big Lebowski is 100% Buddhist propaganda. And that's leading me down a rabbit hole of all the other subtle things throughout history where their subtle propaganda machine is influencing reality in ways that most of us just can't comprehend. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, so the answer is game loading, please wait. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that buffering. I'm not going to take that as a point against. The reason that we ask this question is for things like, well, what are you doing? Well, I want to drive her out. I want to drive her out. I want to find out where the missing USB stick is, and I want to get that while the fight's going on. Is a completely different thing that you're going to be working at cross purposes toward. Like Captain America.
It could help in the long run. We don't know.
Captain America and Winter Soldier is like, where the hell is Natalie? And she's off doing stuff, and that messes with the team dynamic. What about Mitzi?
Yeah, I think she's like she just wants us to stop. She's not having a good time, and would like to stop the teacher.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Okay. So I would say everyone has the same purpose in the fight or counts as a null response. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove a team. So, Birthright, do you trust the team? Do you trust your team?
Of course.
Caleb, the leader or the team? All right.
Oh,
Perry?
I trust them all.
Yeah. Perry?
I know that he strays eventually, but I don't think this is the antecedent.
This is not the point where he.
That's the wrong word. That's the wrong word.
He's a little confused, but he got spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, we don't know how the universe reveals itself. His side comment is now opening up pathways that I had previously not considered.
Do I trust Birthright? I mean, I trust Birthright right now at this moment.
Exactly.
That's what we're asking.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitzi? Okay. And finally, if your team is ill-prepared or off-balance, remove a team. What do you guys think? I don't have my suit.
We're a little off balance.
Okay, all right. We'll remove a team.
As a whole, I think my hands are melted into a desk. I'm a little.
That is absolutely fair. So we started with 2. We got an extra one because the leader has influence everybody. Everybody has the same mission in the team. We don't mistrust anybody, which doesn't add, it just doesn't take away. But we are a little bit unprepared or unbalanced, so we get 3 points. All right, so that is me. I get over here. I've set this up as like a deck of cards in here just to kind of do this and do my deal. So you see that the little point total down in the corner goes up to 4. That's points that you guys can use to help each other out on all this stuff. I think this is a little bit up to you as far as what the move is specifically for Birthright here. You can definitely go with the defend, the idea that you're trying to like sort of take the attention off of Revenant. Alternately, you could be going for like some kind of provoke thing where you're trying to get her to back down, get out of here, go away, any of that kind of stuff. It feels more like a defend. At the moment.
That may very quickly change.
Well, and part of the requirements for the provoke is that someone is susceptible to your words, and that may not actually be the case right now because you kids are just going to say things sometimes. You just have to kind of tune them out.
Mm-hmm.
Just tune them out. So yeah, the defense. So when you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll savior.
All right.
That's all that is. One. Yeah, yeah. Do you have your tonfas even, or is it basically just you right here?
I mean, I'm gonna let you be the final say on it, but I
Hang
feel like
on.
he would have some kind of field kit for like, if he immediately needs to whip him out. But even if not, like he's a martial artist, so like I can
Okay.
give her the
Gotcha.
field cuffs.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Uh huh.
Do I know that you? I'm assuming I know that you use tonfas, right?
Yes.
Can I summon like psychic eldritch like tonfas into his hands as constructs to use?
I know this is like the worst time possible. I gotta get up really quick. 1 second.
No problem.
Is that a possibility?
I mean, sure. You can do psychic
Cool.
constructs. So yeah. And that's not really even a role necessarily. It's just it's honestly just almost narrative. I'm just gonna get over here, do this thing.
Oh, while we're waiting for him, I just
Huh?
read Burn real quick, and I was like, oh no.
What's that?
I just read Burn, which I should have read before, and I kind of read before, but it actually just sunk in now,
Uh-huh.
which is my passive move. Oh no. Okay.
Why
So sorry
why
about that.
why is that
Evil
oh no?
salesperson.
Because on a miss, roll 2 burn and mark 3 conditions.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you are going to be juggling conditions like crazy all the time. That's where the Nova lives. Okay?
Yay!
That's how Belize melts down. Like that is yeah. Things go crazy. On a miss though. That's a miss. What do you
That's a
got
miss,
to
that's
worry
fine.
about?
Yeah,
Now
I
the
rolled a
bonus
6.
the bonus to that is that the more conditions you get, the less likely you're going to have a miss the next time because you're adding your conditions when you do the burn. So
Burn is like rolling fumble on a fumble.
burn is so Novas have a tremendous amount of power. Just generally, they can narrate
Yes.
whatever. It's like I want to attack with this thing. I want to do this. I want to blah blah blah. There are certain things that they can do with their powers if they power up by using this burn thing that are kind of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it really well to the point where I don't even need to roll. I'm just going to spend a point of my burn and it just happens. But powering up is where the risk is at. And the more conditions you have, the easier it is to burn. The more conditions you have, the easier it is to burn. Just get more conditions. Why don't I just walk around with angry all the time? That kind
The
of stuff.
candle that burns
Oh,
twice
yeah.
as bright burns half as long.
Okay, so we get back in here and we are going to do the defend roll to see what we've got going on here. Yep.
On it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I figure he's gonna start with words and then see what happens.
Well, it's definitely, yeah, in this case, you're definitely defending just, doing the thing that you're doing. So, Solid Shaver, aka Birthright, rolls Savior. Just so you guys know how this works, if you put a mouse right over that number, you can actually see what the dice were that you rolled. It pops up and tells you, like, you had your +3 modifier and how you got to that thing. So just kind of nice to be able to see and kind of break it down and see how it was happening. Also can tell you if you've got a move that's like, it's not even mathematically possible for me to get a 4. How could that have happened? All right, so back here at the defend, when you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll plus Savior. On the 7 to 9, it costs you. You're going to expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
Good.
And you get to pick. Make sure I get this right. Keep them safe and choose one regardless of what kind of hit it is. But a 7-9 it also costs you. So add team. You can either add another point of team to the pool, take influence over someone that you protect. We'll talk about that just here in one hot second. Or you can clear condition, which you don't have right now. So that option is not helpful. Take influence over someone you protect. Technically right now that's Revenant. Technically you already have influence. Influence does not stack. You can't get rated influence. Some Power by the Apocalypse games you can have like HX on somebody and it'll stack up and it's got a rating. This is not how that works. If you take influence over somebody, choose to take influence over somebody that you already have influence over, what you get to do instead is shift their labels. 1 up and 1 down. So that comes up.
So
Or you can just add team to the pool.
Would I do that for Revenant right now?
If you chose to take influence over him, that would shift labels. Or you can choose to add team to the pool. Those would be either one of those makes sense. Obviously.
I think I'm gonna add the team to the pool just because I don't want to mess with his labels right now.
Yeah.
But what I would imagine happening is while he's given his speech, he kind of like is walking across the room in front of everybody, like in between the teacher and them, kind of just being like, if you want to get to them, you have to go through me. And that's kind of his move right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I will say for the record, I mean, there's a certain amount of instinctual your guyism that comes from other games you might have played. And I'm not saying don't run roughshod over the thing, but if you turn around, it's like, dude, you got this. You're one of the most powerful people I know. We're going to take this chick down. I'm going to raise his freak and I'm going to lower his, I don't know,
superior again.
Superior. I'm going to lower his superior and I'm going to raise his freak. Is that cool? And all it takes is a check in. It's like, is that cool? Do you want me to mess with you? Like, yeah, man, roll me. Or it's like, actually, I'm really liking where things are at. I'm going to need superior in a second. It's like, okay, cool. I'll just say it, and I'll do this other thing with the team pool. Just check in. Okay? So, but there's no reason to not have that meta level of tacticalness to it because it's still just the role playing. It's still just the cool thing you say.
Right.
It just also has like a mechanical weight to it. So there's a certain level. We talk a lot about this, right, on TikTok about the meta gaming and stuff. And it was like, well, I'm messing with.
Thinking about that.
We talk a lot about this, and that this is a situation where you have to kind of. There's a certain amount of holding both worlds in your hand because you're doing this. There's a certain amount of authorial mindset, or the screenwriter mindset, or the thing. It's like, what do I want to do right now? Well, let me back up a step and go. The coolest thing to do right now would be if I go found that music teacher that Caleb is so and kind of talk to him about Caleb because it seems like he really listens to the music, not because I really care, but because that's going to get Caleb involved in this next scene or whatever. And there's a certain amount of that. You either get comfortable with it or you end up hating it and saying, I'm never going to play Masks again. Hopefully it'll be the other thing. Okay, so I apologize for these tangents. I know that I'm doing them, but partly this is me going, we need to kind of understand how the game works. So
this is the tutorial level.
It kind of. There's a little bit of that. Welcome to teacher's tutorial level. Okay, so you're going in there and you expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. Okay. All right. Silas, this is very inappropriate behavior in a classroom. I think we're going to have a talk. But we're going to have a talk with the principal. But before that, I think we're going to have. I think we need to bring in security if you're going to continue to be unruly in this fashion. And she takes her chalk back up there on the whiteboard and slashes it just all the way down and hard. Hang on. There we go. That'll work. Yeah, like that.
Oh.
Fantastic.
I'm feeling more comfortable in this scenario now. I feel more at home.
Finally.
So people.
Extra dimensional threats. That's my specialty.
Eldritch horrors. I'm feeling so much more comfortable now, guys.
Gentlemen, the students being unruly and these things, honestly, just I've been watching a lot of Castlevania, so the night creatures from Castlevania kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Pretty basic demon looking one, but just and kind of coming back out of this thing and coming at you.
Perfect.
When he steps up in there, though, and all of her attention falls on you because this was a successful defend, and the weight of her regard falls on Birthright. The desk stuff it doesn't exactly revert to normal, but it gets all like silly putty. Okay, so it kind of uncurls a little bit and comes off there. You're like,
Okay, so as I feel like all of that start to loosen up again, I'm gonna stand up now, and those like demon things coming through, I'm gonna summon some eldritch like psychic tentacles to grab them to prevent them from getting near him.
Okay, that is definitely another defend roll. So I'm gonna ask you to roll your superior as you're like basically like pushing yourself loose of this thing and doing the
Superior or
big
savior?
savior. Sorry, did I misspeak? Yeah,
Okay.
I meant
I
to
was
say
like-
savior.
I was like,
I don't want to
oh,
roll
God.
superior.
I was
That's
like,
a terrible idea.
Okay.
And bloop. I got to get over to the right thing here.
Oh, it didn't show me that I rolled anything on mine.
It's not showing.
Oh, it sticks sometimes. It's super annoying. I will make a parenthetical note here. If you have over in the, this is another like tutorial mode thing. Under your gears setting, I think it's under gears. Yeah, there's a little gear up in the top, like over the thing, where there's some settings for the game. I would uncheck enable 3D dice. They're cool. They're awesome. They
Slows everything down.
it slows everything down and frequently causes things like this. But I would uncheck that because what it does is it throws like 3D dice across the table, but it also makes the whole thing lag. I do not see any kind of. It didn't look like it finished the roll, so I'd go ahead and just hit it again because I don't think cock dice. They went off the table.
Got it.
Dice
Okay.
will off the table. Let's just hit it again.
All right. Hang on a second.
We get that sometimes. It's only recently that I figured out that it might be connected to the 3D dice thing because I didn't know my players on my Wednesday night game were doing that. And there's one particular guy who apparently loves the 3D dice.
Oh!
Oh,
Nice.
ooh.
Yes.
Very, very nice. All right, so we've got. Let's get back in here. That's a good roll. Yeah, so basically it's the same sort of thing as the previous defend, except you don't expose yourself to danger. So, basically you just choose add team to the pool. You can clear it. Do you have a condition? I don't think you
No.
have one yet. So add team to the pool, or you can take influence over Birthright, who you already have. Again, you already have influence over, but if you choose to, you can like shout something at him, shift labels, that kind of thing. Like, you know,
Okay.
shift his danger up and go, dude, Tonfas, and you get like the creepy Tonfas in his hands.
Hell yeah.
That's so.
Hell yeah.
So what happens is I stand up and I want these tentacles to just wrap around these guys to prevent them, and I'd be like, "You got this. Take them out." And then these just like they look like crab legs, like that's what they look like. They're made out of crab like armor, like crab exoskeletons, just in your hands.
He like does the spin and he goes, groovy.
Yes.
All right, so you can. So you want to shift his labels.
Yep. So I'd like to. Danger is his directly engaged, correct? That's his like basically like I'm gonna beat the snot out of these things, right?
Typically, yes. There's a move he can do when he's like under fire and like things are like he's really in the mix and stuff is coming down hot and heavy where he can roll savior instead. But yeah, typically it would be danger, and that's low right
No,
now.
But my
Yeah.
savior's already maxed out. So,
Yeah, you can't pump savior anyway. So
Well, so what I was thinking is either freak, because your freak would be like utilizing your martial arts or your danger. I'm thinking danger right now because you're about to go punch somebody, and I just gave you the tonfas, so danger would go up.
danger up.
And
And what
I-
would you lower?
Mundane probably because he's a lot less
that's what I was
normal since
thinking.
He's got crab tonfas.
Yeah, well, I was thinking lower the mundane. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna like cause you major problems.
We'll figure it out.
Low stats are just fun stats.
Well,
Best
I meant
thing-
like literally like, oh, I'm gonna like give you a condition or
Oh
something.
no. Yeah.
I just want to make sure it wasn't all the way down.
It's worth noting too, and this is that's happy fun times, is that if somebody tries to move your labels and the labels can't move the direction that they want to move them, and they would move anyway, you take a condition instead. So yeah, if you got a you know, an adult who's like, you just need to use your head more, and they want to raise your superior, and your superior is actually already at 3, and that lands, you take a guilty condition and says like, I already am really trying hard. What the hell, man? You know, and yeah, that's a thing. The first mass game I ran, which was like 60 some odd sessions, we had the character sheets hidden from each other, and the end of game stuff, a lot of times you were shifting each other's labels around, and nobody could see what each other's stats were. So characters were randomly giving each other's conditions at the end of the game for a while. It was
Awesome.
yeah, it was terrible, and it's not supposed to be what you're doing, but it added a really interesting flavor to that game. It made it really important to get to the move where you could lock your label and go, okay, at least quit screwing with me with this one stat. All right, so tentacles up, Tonfa's out. I know that this would typically be you, we're going to give you that moment of spinning the thing and kind of winding up, and then I want to shift a little bit because so far Perry hasn't done anything, and I want to make sure that doesn't continue here. So Perry, let me break this down to you in a slightly different way. We have some sort of multi-dimensional entity who is attempting to do some kind of psychic influence on everybody here in the team for some nefarious purpose. They clearly have an artifact that allows them to access rents in dimensional space, and they have minions somewhere that they're pulling in on this thing. They've already opened what you can count at least like 3 or 4 tears in the dimensional walls. You don't think there's any time thing because you don't smell petrichor. And that's we've established that's a pretty big tell. But definitely something interdimensional and nasty there, and they clearly have some sort of nefarious ability. They can, wherever you happen to be right now, and you don't think it's a normal space, they've got some kind of reality distortion thing going on. What do you do?
So this is all going to happen in rapid fire because this is the rabbit hole that the brain is going down. Do I open a portal and yeet them back into some place that's going to deal with them, or do I open a portal and put us back where we are supposed to be?
I mean,
it's the choices.
It is the choices. I think the difficulty, here's the thing. If you want them to go away, you don't really need to know where you are to get them to be someplace else. Someplace else is easy.
Yep.
If you don't know where you are and you want your friends and you to land in a normal
not
location,
in a star,
you might want to not do that part.
Yep. That makes sense. Okay. So it's either the groovy or the tonfas or the coming out of the thing like snaps me out of my Lebowski reverie, and I'm like, what? No.
Yes, I like that. No. The best answer ever.
This is not what's supposed to be happening in this time.
Yeah.
All right. Now there's I have, and I know where you're going with the portal thing. I'm 100% behind it. Is Perry the type of person, this is me learning more about the characters, is Perry the type of person who would like look over everything and take stock of all the thing, or is he just kind of working on instinct? And I ask that because do you sit there and go, are you figuring out all this stuff about the situation?
Well, I think
in a flash of processing, or are you just going with it?
It's the flash of processing. It's in a situation like this, you know how when you're about to get in the car accident and you can see the individual pieces of like the road tumbling toward you in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's not the system buffering because the math overlay is on the screen. It's I'm solving this equation because the math overlay is on the screen.
I gotcha. All right. What I'm going to have you do then is I'm going to have you do one of the basic moves is called assess the situation. So that's you just kind of going through and going blah, 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 blah. So right off the bat, as you're taking in all this stuff and figuring out like, okay, do I portal them? Do I portal us? If I portal us, do I need to figure out? I'm not sure where we are, so how do I get us to where the endpoint's going to be? What is the range on dimension?
Is my superior high enough that this tracks?
Oh God, yes.
The superior is the thinking, right? But I don't know what the scale is. So
I should explain. No, that's an excellent thing. Let me just touch on that real quick. Your labels go down to -2, which is if I use that label, it's going to make my life interesting, very, very interesting, in very memorable ways. It goes all the way up to a 3, and generally speaking, the most that you are allowed to add to a roll is a 4. Is 4 total. So you can have that 3. Your stat might go up to a 3 to a 4 if you raise a label or whatever. But generally speaking, you're not going to add more than 4 to a particular roll. So your superior is at a 2, and that is perfectly cromulent. It's one of your stronger labels right now. So perfectly cromulent. What?
Yep.
I
absolutely. Yes, same. And I immediately know what you mean.
So
yeah.
over with Perry, if you can open up the character sheet, you just click the little dice next to the superior to do the thing.
Doing the thing.
I apologize for the stop and start on this and doing the little explaining the
All
bits.
good. We're learning.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked.
I'll confess, I'm mostly aiming that at Mo because I know you've played before and run this before, and you're like, oh god, he's explaining another move again.
Oh, it's fine because like it's kind of like this is like a longer version of Beggar Teach. So like
Yeah.
Great.
If you want a really long version of Beggar Teach on Ironsworn, I just wrapped up 32 sessions on Ironsworn last night. While he's figuring out the role, I just got to tell you guys, I got down to the end. I was wrapping up exploring Castle Ravenloft, and I had to defeat this thing, and that was a pretty scary role. Then I had to fight Strahd, and then I had to wrap up a final. So, Perry, there you go. You're on the right sheet. And then I had to see if I could drive Strahd out and free Barovia, which was like this huge epic thing that 32 sessions I'd made about 50% of the progression along the bar for. And I got the less than 1% chance result on that final thing of not only did I beat the roll, but they rolled double ones against me. Like it was an absolute total wipe the floor, sun shines over Barovia, the clouds break, Strahd's completely gone, you're totally free.
Fantastic.
I was prepared for not only do you lose, but it's double tens and he sucks everything through to the dimension of dread, because this is old school Ravenloft when it's actually just out in the world. And this is how we got to the demi-plane of dread is I screwed up this roll. Go me. Right. And instead I got you win everything and here's a pony. Literally, I took one of his horses.
Yeah. I'm seeing investigate the timeline, but I'm not seeing assess the situation.
Look at labels. Good. You don't need to look at the actual move. Just hit the dice next to superior, and you're good to go.
Okay, cool.
And you'll see underneath that label, it says
there
the
it is.
moves
Got
that
it.
go
Got it.
with
Got
it.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Okay. I hit the little D20.
Yep.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll work. Oh, it'll ask you if you have any extra bonuses that you want to add, and you just say no. Or
okay.
There should be a little pop-up. If it doesn't work, I can hit the button.
It's not working on my. Would you mind doing it for me this time?
I can absolutely hit the button.
Thank you, sir.
No situational bonus.
Sorry, I'll get this sorted before the next session.
It's hopefully. Okay. Oh man! See, this is why you never let the GM touch your dice. Okay, rolling.
It's interesting.
Can we add a team point to that?
We can absolutely add a team point to that, by all means.
I think because I want to help out with that and use a team.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, when you're using team mechanics correctly.
So the team points are pretty straightforward. You don't. I can move the points if you want to, but where's the? I need to get a different icon for this, but yeah, you basically just pull one of those out of there and pull down the thing. So we got another little team point on here. It's really straightforward. There's no role to help. You know this already. I'm explaining it more to everybody else. Just narrate what you do, and then and I'm going to spend a team point and kind of help them out. So Perry's, and I'll say this just so to provide that little extra bit of context is Perry is overloading on over analysis. He's literally got analysis paralysis. He's locking up at all the possible things. The math. You say that math is coming up not because I'm overwhelmed, but because I'm processing. Actually, it's more the first thing. Missy, what do you?
Yeah.
I think with all the noise that's happening, especially with the dust stuff, that definitely starts getting her attention. She's like, okay, I need to get out of my woe is me station. Nice. Figure out what's going on and seeing that there's a portal to another dimension with creatures coming out of it, and snaps into. Looks back at Perry, who
snap.
Yeah, she's just like, Perry, come on.
Huh? What? Yes,
Focus.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Go away.
All right. So
this is your stuff. What do we do?
Yeah, exactly. So that pushes. So you don't mark potential for this because it doesn't end up being a miss. It pushes it up to a 7. And with that, with a 7 to 9, you get to ask one of the questions off the assess the situation sort of move. What here can I use to? Blah. It's It's meant to be a pretty flexible question. What here is the biggest threat? Now, I'm going to circle back to that here first in just a second. What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is the most vulnerable to me? And how can we best end this quickly? Now, I want to point this out. When you assess the situation, roll plus superior, blah, 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 take +1 while acting on the answers. So let's say that you're fighting only one bad guy. And asking the question, who here is the biggest threat, seems a little obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It is. But you might ask the question anyway just so you can get the +1. You see what I'm saying? So you can, you're like, so I'm going to go after that guy next. I'm definitely going to make sure that he's the most, and maybe I'll surprise you and go, actually, the biggest threat is blah. But if you know you're going to be going after whoever, and you know that he's the biggest threat there, ask the question anyway, give yourself the bonus on the next roll. That's what assess the situation is kind of locking these things in, a little bit of prep rolling into things. So I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just explaining that bit because some people are like, well, I'm not going to ask that. I already know the answer. Perfect.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so from those questions, what do you think is the one that you want?
Who here is the biggest threat?
Here's the biggest threat. It's definitely going to be teacher. The fact that they can bring in all these dimensional things, that might be somewhat limited. You don't know what their capacity for the extra stuff is. But between that and the ability that the fact that they apparently have the ability to kind of warp reality in this space definitely makes them the biggest threat. So whatever you do against them next is going to have a +1, and you can definitely switch that around to, you take +1 while acting on the answers. So yeah, you can definitely. I got to go back and look at that later. Little footnote, because it doesn't say take +1 on the next roll to act on the answers. It just says takes +1 while acting on the answer. So it could be.
I think anytime you're facing her, you just get on because you know more about her.
Yeah, kind of. And you've definitely taken the measure of that. The reason that she's dangerous is dimensional portals, ability to reality warp. Apparently focused around this artifact that she's got. I'm specifically referring to the stick of chalk. That kind of stuff. So yeah, you've definitely nailed that down. And now you were talking about
are the things that she has summoned, they're coming out of the rifts that she's rent in the in the board?
Correct.
Are they because what I'm envisioning is basically like the video game Portal. I'm an entrance portal that's just under their feet, so they just go whoop.
Yep, love it.
That's exactly
Yep.
And I'll imagine where the exit portal is.
Someplace that's else.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Someplace that's else. All right.
If Sesame Street was, because it's a teaching environment, but if Sesame Street was on the elemental plane of fire, that's kind of what I'm imagining. But I don't know where that is or if it exists. If it does, it may. But
it does now.
It does now. You just thought of it, so there it is. All right. So in that case, if you, I'm going to go with directly engage a threat because it's definitely what you're doing. It's not you're not exactly punching her in the face. It's not what this is about.
Right.
But you're definitely
still trying to
directly engage the threat itself. So for this one, now this is interesting because you're still using your powers, and it took me a minute to get my head around this, right? When you look at the moves and stuff and you think, oh, I've got powers and this one move is for unleashing my powers, that must be what I roll when I unleash my powers. It isn't. It is sometimes when you're doing specific things. When you unleash your powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape the environment, or extend your senses, then you're rolling for that. So it's kind of the grab bag, use your powers to do stuff. Okay?
Gotcha.
But you're using it to fight, unless you've got a move that flips the script on that. Unless you are using a move that changes that and say I'm going to roll something else, like Silas Birthright has one for that. You're rolling danger because you're using your powers in that combat sense. You can use your powers narratively in pretty much any of the moves or any of the stats or so. So this is a rolling danger and
with a +1.
Yeah, you get a +1 for it on that, and I can do that again, or you can have somebody else.
Now that I know where that pops up, see if I can do it.
And when it asks you, like, do you have a modifier? Hey, look at that, we got a thing. Oh, look at that beautiful roll. Very nice.
Well,
I didn't know what your danger was. That is a beautiful 10. All right, so
my danger is 0.
yeah,
So,
+1 was the only thing that you had, and that's what actually got you over the top into the thing.
yep.
So for directly engage, you get a couple of choices. Again, this is a move with a few choices. When you directly engage, roll plus danger. On a hit, you trade blows. Okay. So the
Okay.
default is, and this is one of those things that people get. It's interesting about Powered by the Apocalypse. I never roll. Sometimes I get to just say, hey, you take damage. But generally speaking, the fight, if you're in there punching or swinging swords or whatever, is how well you rolled determines whether or not you're also taking damage in that same exchange. So the default is for directly engage a threat, you get hit and they get hit. So you're getting into the mix and you're going to take your lumps at the same time. Okay. Then you get to pick stuff. On a 10 plus, you get to pick 2 of these options. Resist or avoid their blows. That is the I hit them, they do not hit me back option. Take something away from them. Create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. Interesting little tidbit there, because all these guys that we're fighting also have conditions. Right? And they have a certain number of conditions. They can't, many of them do not have all 5 like you guys do. The scary ones have 5. There's actually a way, sort of carefully hidden away inside of the option for impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, where you can technically do another condition as a result of choosing to frighten them. But I mentioned that simply because I managed to miss that fact for about 3 years. So I'm getting, people just we didn't ever notice it in the text because it's sort of in there parenthetically, at the end. So you get 2 options off this list.
So I know that one of my options is, as they're falling, I'm going to be in the exact right spot to just yoink that piece of chalk. So I'm taking something away from her.
Sure.
And then I don't remember what the other choices were.
Resist or avoid their blows, create an opportunity for your allies, or
that opportunity. Because I maybe I'll take damage. I don't know. I mean, but I feel like I've already used the teleport to make sure that I'm getting the chalk, so I don't want to use the teleport again to resist the blow, which is realistically the only way that I get out of the way of somebody hitting me, is just not being there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll create an opportunity for them. Which I'm guessing is because she's going
after you.
Sorry, I'm thinking she, because you mentioned.
Well, she presents female. Yeah.
Sure. And so her being distracted by me going yoink with chalk, which clearly is her like locus of power, is enough to basically give everybody an opportunity to do their thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to probably open that up for Mitzi on this one. All right. So yeah, you open the portals. The one that you open up underneath the teacher, she seems to see coming, and she kind of sidesteps away from that thing and hops away from like getting out of splash range of a car or something like that. She's looking down at that, and you kind of have snaked your way in through all of these things and grabbed the chalk. You weren't expecting the feedback from this, and it's kind of like grabbing hold of a security fence.
Yep.
So
I touched an electric fence when I was in 5th grade, so I know.
And that kicks you back and basically throws you back through a bunch of the desks. They're like scattering every direction. And you're like da, and you slide and kind of come in against the back wall.
Okay.
It's a big. You've currently got portals open at the same time. There's situations with this was like, oh yeah, just take a thing. This one hurts because, well, there's 2 reasons why it hurts, but you're between having the dimensions open and grabbing this thing for screwing with this kind of reality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're ground on top of everything else. So we're going to explore another move called Take a Powerful Blow. So when you when you
Sorry,
take
I
a
was laughing.
when you take a powerful blow, you roll plus your conditions marked. I don't think you have any right now, which is probably just fine.
Not yet.
So
I feel
there's
like I'm about to get some.
on the well, it kind of depends on the character sheet. I actually like this move a lot, and I didn't like it when I first started, but I really, really do like it. On your character sheet, if you look over on the right-hand side where it shows conditions, and it may not display right on yours, but look for where the conditions are. Next to the word conditions, there's a dice, and that will roll your conditions for you and tell you how to do. The one weird thing about take a powerful blow is this. It's flipped. The mechanics are backwards.
Okay.
If it helps, think of it as this is actually me rolling the GM's attack against me. Some people think of it that way. But basically, low is good because it means you're not taking a big hit, and you might actually get XP. So it's a bonus kind of thing all the way around. If you roll a big high number, it's less awesome.
Now, does my assess the situation, she's the biggest threat, +1 still count for this?
Nope, not for this.
Because this is, okay, so no
Two
bonus
reasons.
or penalty?
Two reasons. You're trying to roll low, so the +1 isn't good for you. Second reason is technically this isn't...
It's not...
Mechanically, this is just...
Yeah,
mechanically, this is just the consequences of the other thing.
Yep,
happening.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, roll conditions. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Again, this is the roll where low is good.
Low is good.
Yeah,
all right,
so
low is good.
Let's take a look at the thing for take a powerful blow, so you can just take a look at it. That's fantastic.
Sure.
So basic moves, take a powerful blow. When you take a powerful blow, roll plus conditions. On the 10 plus, you get to choose. Now I'm just going to say the options so you can see. So if you roll really high, you can choose from remove yourself from the situation by getting knocked out, running away.
In the next week. Yeah.
Yeah, so on and so forth. You lose control of your powers in a terrible way. Mitzi penciled that one in. That'll be happening. You lose control of your powers in a terrible way. That could be like going full on Dark Phoenix kind of stuff. It can also be, I had somebody who had like sort of Daredevil abilities, and they chose that one. And it wasn't like Dark Phoenix, it was I'm overwhelmed by all the sensory input data and am now useless and cannot help my friend who's in danger, and I watch them take a big hit because I'm on the ground. That kind of stuff. Or you take two options from the 7 to 9 list. The 7 to 9 list I honestly think is even more painful because you have to pick some pretty rough stuff. You take this thing happens and you lash out verbally, provoking a teammate to foolhardy action, or you shift things. So you say something like you're yelling, it's like, will you get off your ass and do something? So they take a condition and you don't. That's super fun.
It's rough.
You give ground and your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions. Or on a miss, you stand strong, mark potential as normal, because it counts as a fail. It counts as a learning moment. So you get to mark a point of potential on your character sheet and say how you weather the blow. Okay?
Okay.
Cool? Knock back through all the desks and everything, skid to a stop. What's that look like? How are you
that is like power sliding backwards. My feet are on the floor and the desks are parting like a wave. Yeah, exactly. It's like and come to a gentle stop with my butt just barely kissing the fish tank.
My butt kissing.
Nothing. Yeah, just sorry. just the fish are fine. Fish are fine.
Water just fluctuates just a little bit in the tank.
Yeah. I mean, so the frogs will live to be dissected another day. And it's just like it's kind of how I weather that.
Nice.
Because I still feel that.
Oh yeah. The chalk is a thing. That is a thing. I'm just gonna look at because she's gonna take a condition from this, and that's gonna be fun.
Said I mark potential. Right?
You mark a box on the potential here, and
got it. I'm learning how to navigate this on the phone as we go through, so it's getting a bit easier.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna say this next thing, and we're gonna take a short break. How's everybody's stop time? Are we good for about another 45 minutes or so, give or take? Is
Yeah.
that cool? Are
Yeah.
we still clean on that?
Checking.
Checking.
4:30 is kind of my stop time. So
Math is hard.
Eastern. So
It's like an hour and a half
1:30.
now.
Okay, we got an hour and a
Yeah.
half, so we got plenty of time for that. But what about you? What about you, Frank? We good? All right, cool. All right, so she pulls away the thing. You're flying light, and she turns around. She just turns around, big angry, like, "Oh, you pissed off the teacher. You're definitely going to detention for the rest of your natural born life. How dare you?" And she gets big, and like she kind of turns into she's morphing into the big version of this. She still inexplicably still has the eyeglasses on the chain around her neck. But yeah, the clothes are hanging in rags off of her, and she's full on like, oh, this is one of the boss night creatures kinds of things. The face changes. There's like 3 eyes in a row on both sides, and then one in the middle of the forehead. And you are going to detention. And there's this weird thing. The echo is happening, and it's kind of ringing in your head, and this voice, it's not your voice, is in your head. I'm not speaking specifically to Perry. I'm talking to everybody going, run away, run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. Mitzi, they are definitely doing this on purpose. This is definitely coming from them. And definitely something that you're going to maybe want to do something about. With that, we're going to take a short break because I've drank about 64 ounces of iced tea.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
We're going to be back.
You have to pee 9 times.
So
I'm going to take this opportunity as well.
Let's take 5 minutes while the hold music
Same.
plays, and then we're going to come back to Mitzi.
Okay.
And I'm actually also going to be asking what Birthrate's doing at the same time. So right back with you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Bye.
And we're back. At least I'm back.
Also, and that was much needed break. Thank you.
I don't always remember to do that. So by all means, if you feel, hey, can we take a? I mean, obviously you guys can just, if like, oh, I'm not up right now, I can just duck out. But
Yeah, I was like, that's what happened. Like whenever you were talking to Sean earlier, I was like, I'm just gonna run to the bathroom.
perfect. I need to like call it because, and a lot of times it's like, you know what, talk amongst yourselves. But we're in the middle of a fight. I can't really do that. So. Also, my legs are cramping like crazy, so I need some salt and some banana. So.
Good call. I'm with you. I'm just I'm going to be muted for a second while I'm filling water bottles and stuff. But I'm here. And yay on the making sure you're getting electrolytes and not just water. So
yeah.
the former green vest guy is happy.
I have those Noon tablets that I really like to put in my water bottles.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
I ran out of them. They gave out some at the last race I did, but I ran out.
I do like the powdered Gatorade or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
Because
Yeah.
I can just get like a giant bottle of water and just make that real instantly.
My kids
and then I hydrate better because I'm not drinking just water. It's got taste.
Water tastes like water. We can fix that.
Yep.
As long as you're drinking water and the Gatorade, like
I do drink water.
Just plain water.
Yep. I do. I drink.
Good.
It's backwards, but this is the stuff that my kid got me onto. Is this Mio stuff? It's like little liquid squirt stuff. This one's like, this one is completely useless. It's just flavor. Some of them have like B12 in them.
Caffeine.
Some of them have caffeine. Little caffeine squirt, and they're all sugar free. So.
My old roommates used to have Topo Chico, which is like seltzer water, and they put like that stuff in it. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I never liked sparkling water then, but I tried some of theirs. I was like,
throw it in with that stuff. Yeah, it helps. It helps a lot.
But now I like sparkling water. So like.
See, I drink this Gatorade stuff, water, and coffee, and that's it. That's all I ever drink.
We drink a lot of the Ahas in our house.
The Ahas?
Oh yeah, that's a sparkling water brand.
It's basically like Coke's answer to LaCroix.
Okay.
But they have a couple that have like caffeine in them that are really good, so they're good in the morning. And then you don't have to feel so big. It's good because like we're trying to not drink as much soda because I used to be a fiend for soda, and it's nice because like it kind of like it's like you're drinking water, but like you kind of get like a little bit of soda taste, whatever.
It kind of gives you that it scratches the itch.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like somebody like whispered fruit next to water.
Yeah,
LaCroix is like yelling across the highway.
That's why I need this stuff. Yeah, we drove.
This is actually good stuff for Waterloo.
The LaCroix is like, our truck that was carrying the LaCroix drove past a truck that was carrying bananas on the highway.
Right.
That's it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I usually go for coffee, but I was running late today, so. Luckily, I grabbed. My wife's got this enormous, like the Arizona.
Those are good.
And I'm the half and half. The the Arnold Palmer, the lemonade and.
Oh yeah.
Lemonade and iced tea. Anyway, all right. Yeah, that's actually Mio's like one of their little ad campaigns is water tastes like water. We can fix that. All right, so. Not to put baby in the corner, but there's a couple of options that immediately present themselves, I think, for clarity.
Yes.
Which is mentally smack the crap out of this demon lady, or she's also doing something to everybody's head that's going to be difficult to deal with. So. But she's going to do a lot less of that if her head is rammed through a cinder block wall. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah,
So what do you want to do?
Kill people.
What's that?
I thought we didn't kill people.
Look at her. She's probably going to be fine.
It should be fine.
You could. Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Whatever happens off screen, that doesn't count.
No, I mean, she would be fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so I think with that and seeing the situation and seeing Harry or Fractal being back and seeing Silas getting into the
run away.
and hearing that. I think Clarity is just or Mincy's just gonna be like, shut up, and just really get frustrated and just blast out just a sonic blast to throw her against the wall.
Like sort of a mental thing, or what does it look like? Is it a physical blast thing, or is it like a telepathy mental thing?
I think it's not going to be anything that anybody can see.
Okay.
But it definitely is something where it's her.
Okay, so it's a physical effect type of thing. Okay.
The thing is, Mitzi's doing something is because her eyes start turning purple.
Like glowing, or are they actually shifting color?
They glow and shift color.
Okay. All right. So so both. Interesting. Okay. I think, and the options sort of on the table for this were sort of like either a directly engage or some sort of defend thing against this thing that's going to be coming. So it sounds like we're going with the directly engage. Like you're just going to go for another big smack on her. Caleb, he just walked away. Not Caleb, Silas, and he just walked away. I'm trying to get everybody in here on this thing, so I know it's been a bit since you did this stuff, but you got the tentacles up, and then they got swooped, and we did the tentacle. Okay, so for Birthright, Mitzi's thought is going to be a little bit faster than your body, as much as you might want that to not be the case. But what are you doing in this case? The rents are still on the back wall, but they're basically closing. Most of the demon summoning things that were being held down by Revenant got pulled down through Fractal's portals. Mm-hmm. They're still closing, so there's holes in the floor, but you've got basically a clear shot to the teacher, who's now a much bigger target. What do you want to be doing also?
I feel like I'm just gonna pull a Legolas. I'm gonna try and run up her back and get on top of her and start wailing on her with the tonfa.
Okay. Yeah. Mitzi's thing is gonna happen, or sorry, Clarity's thing is gonna happen first here, and then there's something in between. Okay, so as you're doing this and you're shut up, the runaway thing builds up to a fever pitch, and when it hits, it just bursts, and your chemical receptors basically in all of your brains just dump a fear reaction into your body kind of all at the same time, which is not super fun. So I'm going to have Clarity go ahead and roll the directly engage. You're going to be rolling, unless you have a thing that twists this, you roll danger.
I don't think I do because my burns don't.
Yeah, your burns don't do that. You wouldn't have another move for it. So I'm going to have you roll directly engage, but then everybody, including you, take afraid after the fact, after the roll on this, because it kind of happens all at the same time, which is going to make things interesting for thing. All right, so go.
So would my thing be directly engage, and would I be afraid by the time I'm doing it?
Yes, because it hits you as you're running at it.
Okay.
This is me being a jerk and being a GM putting out tough choices and stuff like that, because sort of Clarity had the option. Do you want to try to clear this thing out, or do you want to just hit this bitch? And she's like, option 2, please. I would like to.
Would have done the same. Absolutely.
I mean, Clarity, I approve.
Yeah. You don't get into the supers business by playing it safe.
Yep.
So I rolled
Go ahead.
I rolled a 9 on my directly engage.
What option would you like off of that list there?
I be an opportunity for my allies.
Okay.
Because I think while I do this blast to her, it maybe throws her off guard.
Yeah, bounces her off the back wall, kind of deal. That kind of stuff. Create an opportunity.
Which will allow the opportunity for Silas to come.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I'm good with that. I want to get something that's nicely concrete for that. But okay, so we take that, and I just need to look at one something here real quick. So there's an interesting thing with the way, and Mo already knows this, but the way the game is set up, bad guys have conditions. I already mentioned that. As they take conditions, and every time they take a condition, they get basically, oh, and now they get a free move. They do a thing, and there's a list depending on what kind of condition they take. There's sort of a list of like stuff that they'll do in response to that. Okay, it just happens, and this is partly if you played D20, you're familiar with the idea of like the action economy. It's hard for like, it doesn't matter how badass you make one dude, because if you got 6 people ganging up on him,
right,
they just get more shots. This is like, oh, every time the bad guy gets hit, he gets to do a thing. Evens out that action economy, so you can have like, you have the terrifying, Thanos dealing with 7 or 8 people, and it's still terrifying.
right.
That kind of a deal.
I like that.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. And I am...
Bring it.
Okay, so since I'm going to do a little bit of narration of your power, but this is just expressing that, giving your teammate an opportunity. Okay, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking more to Mo.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
I'm doing a little bit of narration of some of your power use here,
Okay.
to kind of support that, what it looks like for giving him an opportunity. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
All right. So the telekinetic blast goes out, and the voice, honestly, because the thing doesn't really have a mouth as such, the voice in everybody's head is like, I don't even think you're going to make it to detention. And she just kind of goes like kind of throws out her arms, and the whole place kind of shatters. And there isn't a lot of there behind this place. It's a lot of like floating chunks of floor and walls, ceiling, and sort of like black blank back behind there that's kind of fallen. It's worse, obviously, near where she is. But so yeah, if you can imagine like the classroom just sort of hanging in space and watching, there's cracks in the back of this rectangular cube of classroom. Up near the front, it's mostly shrapnel. As this is starting to go apart, though, and you're doing this thing, you kind of put out the other hand off to the side, and you pull back together and hold together some of the floor and keep it into it's not perfect, but you keep it from like tumbling, and you see the tumble stop and pull back together a little bit and kind of hold position right where Birthright kind of needs to go to get up to her. And you're like, nope. And you just kind of hold it all together enough for him to actually get up to that point. Okay, so Birthright.
Yeah.
Bounding, leaping, acrobatic, doing all that stuff.
Right. Would that be directly engage or unleash your powers, you think?
It's if it were you trying to get through this thing, normally I would probably have you do an unleash your powers just to get to her, to then do a directly engage. Clarity took care of that bit for you. Okay. She has smoothed the path, so it goes straight to a directly engage, which is the danger. But again, right now, unfortunately, flooded with the fear response makes things a little bit more complicated. So
gotcha.
Now it will. If you have afraid checked, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to put in an additional -2 or anything. The character sheet takes care of it for you. Just hit danger, and it'll do the math. Which still, you managed to pull out a 7. That is good stuff, even with the -2. Look at that roll. All right. You gave them a thing. Oh, I forgot. Whoops. Man, there's a lot happening here all in 1 second. So this thing is shattering, and you're holding, and you're pushing back against her, and she like like grabs a chunk of rock, and because she see what's going on with this thing, like with one of her second set of arms, she has an extra set of arms now. Grabs like a chunk of the rock and whips it back at Clarity, while you're doing all this kind of stuff, straight at the forehead kind of thing. So Clarity, while this is all happening,
You need me to
take a powerful blow. Yes, please. So the rocks are going, and you're flying, and Birthright's going through the thing and bringing up the tonfas, and the rocks fly. You're like, I got to just get up there and get this bitch.
Out of 7. So,
can I ask a question real quick about this?
Yep.
Okay, so could we use like a team move to lower that down one?
Not exactly.
Okay.
There's stuff you can do with influence. Generally speaking, no. With the take a powerful blow, it's sort of its own thing. There's Yeah, I got to go back through. Let me break that down. That's a lot longer question to answer. That said, generally speaking, when take a powerful blow, it's hard. The reason that she's taking a powerful blow, I should make this clear, is because, and I kind of lost track of it and all this stuff, is when she did her directly engage, one of the options that she did not pick was avoid their blows.
Yeah, so we're trading blows right now.
Yeah, so this is really just a result of her stuff. The die roll thing, not being able to roll that out. Now,
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. I figured I'd ask questions.
No, it's an excellent, good. Yeah, and take a powerful blow is kind of weird because it wants to break that cycle. Like it wants to make it kind of stand in the way of that happening. So, sorry, you had a 7. What was that? What were you going to do with that? Do you think?
Go ahead.
I was just going to kind of like, no, you said with the 7. Oh, you got a 7 too. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was confused.
Yes.
Double 7.
Yeah, double 7. So for me, for my take a powerful blow.
She's like this, and the rock, and you're like,
broke a team. So, take advantage of the influence. Oh, I don't want to.
I mean, giving an opportunity to the opposition works certainly in terms of like losing your hold on all of this stuff. If anybody else has any ideas of what that might look like too, but
I'm going to struggle past the pain and mark chicken.
So you're the thing, like literally, and I'm going to mention this.
Yeah.
I'll mention it primarily to the person that I think would be most impressed by it. So Revenant, you see this rock literally hit her straight on in the forehead, like a chunk of the wall.
Yeah.
Cut, ricochet off, and she just. And blood's like running down her forehead, and she's still holding everything.
I think she's screaming at this point, and she's like, I took angry and guilty. Or sorry, yeah, angry and guilty.
Okay.
I was going to take a... Because I think she feels guilty because she can't do more right now. Or like...
Yeah, you're just holding together reality for everybody else.
Yeah.
No big.
Yeah, I mean...
No biggie.
Okay, and so flying through the air and coming back at this thing while she's still managing to hold the world together, Birthright, you had a 7.
Yep.
What do you want to do with that?
So yeah, running up her back, I would bring the tonfa down on her head, and I would say, "School's out, bitch!" and hit her in the back of the head.
Very nice. What option are you picking off of all of the... You get 1 off of the list there. Avoiding the blows. That's kind of the main one, I think. I mean, it seems like... Maybe not, though. I don't know. But you get to pick something off of that list. If you don't want to be counterattacked kind of thing, then that's your option there.
Gotcha. I mean, I would want to try and avoid that if I could.
Yeah. Well, the angle you're coming at makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're coming up, getting the hit in, leaping away before the claws can find you.
Off of her back and
Nice.
then like roll out. It looks so cool.
Okay.
Wham! Okay.
So
Go
can
ahead.
I?
Absolutely.
Because I have an idea.
Mhm.
So as he backflips away, I want to like summon like a tentacle around my arm and then like reach it out to grab her head and use my dark visions from my Doom track power.
Oh.
You're
I was
gonna
like-
out spooky her.
I'm like, you're gonna give her dark vision. Oh no, you're gonna get dark visions of. Oh.
Yes.
I caught up. All right.
So I'm gonna mark one of the Doom tracks.
Good job. Well done.
And
Your Doom approaches.
my Doom approach. Might as well, right? That's the entire point of this character. Let's do some doomy things.
Give me one. Give me. Whoa. Where did I go? Where did I go? She is. Oh. Okay. All right.
So I just shoot these tentacles like out of my hand, and they like wrap around her head, and like I want to start like sucking like basically psychic energy out of them to see these things, and I want to learn her true name.
There is absolutely nothing comforting about that mental imagery.
That's the point.
At all. Like categorically nothing good there. Okay, let me look at the Dark Visions move here real quick. So yeah, there is blowback on this. Birthright, the again, I just mentioned this. So she's taking another condition here, and the thing that's happening, but it's actually happening to somebody else, so that's okay. All right, so you got Charity, Clarity, holding everything together. The tentacle thing. You're black flipping out of this thing. Perry's getting himself upright. Actually, Perry's like, whoa, because on the back here we still have the fish tank. You know,
he's trying to catch the tank.
It's like,
sorry, I had to click back in. Yeah, I definitely, just on general principles, there's those two frogs are going into the big pockets on my coat, just because that's just like without thinking about it.
The stuff
the frogs aren't going to die.
The frogs. You gotta say the frog.
I watch frogs in my house.
Right? You know what I mean?
My watch frogs. All right. So the dark. Ooh, let me get back over to Caleb and look at dark. Did we write down dark visions anywhere other than just? Oh, I need to look up the character sheet. Can you read me the move for dark visions? We need to get it in here.
So it is. Mark your Doom track to have a vision about the situation at hand.
Gotcha.
After the vision, I can ask the GM a question, and they answer it honestly.
Okay. Yeah, you get... Teacher is a multidimensional entity who has decided that what they want to do is be able to shape and channel and, well, let's be honest, control the new generation of heroes and villains, that kind of thing. But that isn't why they're here. That is not ultimately why that's how they're expressing it, but that isn't why they came here, and that's not why you guys. What's the question you want to ask?
I want to know exactly where they came from originally.
Or why they were sent here, like for this?
No. Like, I want to know what was their worst experience that they've gone through in any interdimensional travel. So I'm finding out that they're going through all these multi-dimensional, like these other dimensions and stuff like that. I want to know the name of the scariest place to them that they ever went to.
You get a mental image of it.
Okay.
It's the kitchen of your old house when your mom was still alive.
Oh, terrifying! Wonderful. Great, fantastic, awesome.
And your mom is sitting there at the kitchen table, like stirring some coffee or tea or something like that, just kind of stirring it and looking up at the point of view, looking up at you, but you're inside of her memory. And she's like, "I need you to do something for me."
Oh, good, awesome, great, fantastic, wonderful, awesome.
I mean,
hey, Perry, this is gonna sound weird. I need you to send her to my old kitchen. And I know that sounds weird, but that's what I need you to do. And I'm gonna like describe it to him as I'm doing.
No, I already know what it looks like. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Are you not a little concerned that he already knows what it looks like, or are you
There's a
just
little
like,
no.
whatever, fine, we'll talk
I could worry about that later. Thinking
Want me to
is
draw a
not
map
my
of your old
strong
house?
suit.
There's a little
can do that.
museum there now. My teacher took me when I was in 3rd grade. I mean, the first time I was in 3rd grade.
Fantastic, wonderful. There.
Silas is
Send
slowly
them
realizing
there.
how weird all of you are.
Am I the normal
All
one?
you
No.
crazy
You guys,
And
How am I the normal one?
Birthright's looking around and it's like, am I better than everyone else? All right.
Yeah, I helped install the commemorative plaque in that museum, so
Great.
I'm
send
well
her
aware.
there.
Okay.
Go there.
The last thing that you get in the mental connection, as the portal opens and you kind of push her back into the thing, the last thing you get through the connection is, she's always going to be able to find you because of the people that you're with. She's always going to be, and it gets cut off. And that's my last little taking a condition move thing. Just tracking this as I'll stop signposting this stuff, but I like folks to sort of understand how all the pieces go together the first couple times.
Okay.
So that is the lovely response of undermine others' beliefs or understanding of things or something like that. I can't remember how it's worded. Anyway. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of a hard cut here. As the world kind of falls a little bit apart, but the cracks that appear in things as the teacher disappears are the cracks of daylight, the cracks of street, the cracks of the regular world as this thing starts to come apart.
We fuck up another part.
Okay. So,
sorry. Sorry, what's the language rating of this supposed to be? And I'll try to stick to it.
It's okay.
Are we a PG? Are we a PG cast? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay. PG-13.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably not. So the next little comic book panel has that yellow box up in the corner that says 45 minutes later. ...
Yeah.
And you guys are all kind of there. You're kind of sitting around. There's a couple of Aegis vans in the area. People are like, you see a couple of folks in like the Aegis outfits taking like doing like sort of Geiger counter readings, but it's more like the thing from the Ghostbusters where the little thingies come up, that kind of deal. And I'm just gonna get back to where are we at here? Supers. Where did I go? Oh, here we go. 1 second. And we'll get that in here. Always need that. Get the Aegis badge up there where people can see it on the Roll20.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, for some value of nice, sure. Here we go. That'll work too. Get a couple folks in here. There. So you guys are kind of just sort of here. They've got like styrofoam cups with like hot stuff in it. There's been some questions just kind of catching up. Teacher is a known entity. It's certainly not the first time that they showed up in Halcyon City. You've got young heroes and stuff like that. And where you have young heroes and young villains, you get this person. Whew! All right.
Bless you.
There's a little bit of that going on. Just kind of checking in and that sort of stuff. We've got about 15 minutes here. Is there anybody in particular, actually, hold up the number of fingers for how many conditions you've taken at this point in time. Oh, Lordy. Take that as a relative.
Ow.
Yeah. Take that as that's the Nova, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Nova at work. And it is always going to, if you find yourself with more conditions than the Nova, you done fucked up.
You goofed. You goofed so hard.
You done goofed. Yeah. All right. So what I will say is take that number of fingers hold up as the general, if you're taking the sort of the scope of the situation in, who's probably looking the most emotionally shook. Okay.
I'm bleeding.
What's that? And bleeding.
she's bleeding.
Yeah, you get some. They're like doing they're patching up the
you
forehead.
bleed like a soccer player, not like a hockey. Sorry, never mind. I got that completely backwards. My bad.
So
Yeah,
somebody's
Let's
patching
play.
up the thing.
Head open.
Somebody's patching up, getting like butterfly, the butterfly band-aids up on that thing. But underneath the arms, you can see she's got kind of the 1,000-yard stare going a little bit. You guys are all feeling a little bit. Does anybody in particular, and don't all rush, but does anybody have anything they want to come over, or maybe all of you come over and just kind of come together as a team a little bit to kind of?
Oh, I'm
gonna.
Whoa.
Go ahead, Frank.
No. My thing. I was just gonna pull the label off of a Zima so that it looks like a 7-Up and give that to her.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna like run over like super stoked after I see that she's like getting patched up, and I'm just gonna like in her face like, dude, that was like you took that freaking boulder to the face. That was insane. Like that was punk. That was punk. Way to go. I'm so proud of you. And I'm just gonna walk off. Just kind of like I'm psyched up all in myself, like just happy and jumping and like
not even waiting for a response. You're just like, that was awesome. Next guy, that was awesome. That was so freaking cool. Ah!
Like
getting high fives from the Aegis agents who are just kind of like, what the hell just happened? Who?
Like if they don't, I'm gonna like glare and just be like, no, high fives. Everyone deserves high fives. Because I know who sent that person, and I'm not okay with that, so I'm glad we're not there anymore.
Birthright, you were saying something that you were gonna do or say there.
So kind of after he's like out of frame, I would slowly walk over to Mitzi and kind of sit down right next to her, and I'd be like, so I'm not good at this whole like talking about your personal stuff thing, but I just want to say that don't listen to that lady, because some of us weren't fortunate enough to be born with amazing abilities like you, and for you to not use that to the best of your ability to help people, that would be a waste. And so don't think that you're in any way doing the wrong thing, because you're supposed to be here.
Thanks. And I think I actually was going to do it.
Yeah, okay. I was just asking
yeah. Yep.
Now, I'm just going to say, for the record,
Right.
thanks might be enough, but if you want to go further, by all means, it's kind of up to Sean a little bit.
Yeah. And I think as Mitzi looks at you, she's like, thanks. I worry that people get scared of me whenever they find out like what I can do. You don't get scared of me like when you look.
I'm just a kid from Asheville who got thrown through a wall by monsters. There's not much that scares me anymore.
Nice. I think that definitely counts.
Yeah. So basically what it was is share a triumph. When you share a triumph celebration with someone, ask them if they see any fear in your eyes when they look at you. If they say no, take +1 forward and mark potential. If they say yes, immediately shift your danger up and your savior down.
So mark potential, and I would put like in your notes in the back tab or something that you've got a +1 for whatever the next thing is that you got to go. This may not go. We'll see how well you're. There's another piece to this that I also want to take a look at. One more little move here. Let's take a look at comfort or support, which my players from my daughter's game get very angry looking at the play sheet because it's comfort and support. Damn it. We support and... Anyway, they get very emotional about that. When you cover support someone, roll mundane. On a hit they hear you, they mark potential, click it, blah, 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 blah. I feel like she opened up, so it's kind of a double move here a little bit, but it kind of depends on how well it lands, and that's a little bit more on Birthright. So if you want to go for that, it's a mundane roll for Birthright.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. This is... What did we get?
Got a 7
Lovely.
on the dot.
Squeaking by with a 7. Love it. So on comfort and support, on a hit, that's what that is. They hear you. Hold
on. Pause real quick. I just saw the background that we have right now,
mm-hmm.
and I was very confused because that's actually a coffee shop here in downtown Austin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's actually a local coffee shop. And I was like, why are we on 6th Street?
I have been using that as a generic Halcyon City background for. I have to find the picture. Because the players, there's a pen option over here on the side where you can like draw stuff. And my players, during the course of an entire scene, covered this thing in snow. Like they got snow up on the edges of all the words and along the top and then the street and put stuff up in the sky. They graffiti scrawl all over every one of my backdrops when I'm doing stuff. But that's funny that it's in Austin. I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
I literally did an image search for Halcyon City, and that's what it came up with. One of the things it came up with. That's awesome. Okay, so we got a 7. And the nice thing about comfort and support is 7, the weak hits don't hurt at all, really very much. They're just really nice if you can get a 10 because they can help you too. Like you're so good at comforting somebody else that you comforted yourself too. That kind of stuff. So comfort and support, on a hit they hear you, they mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you. Did her response feel like opening up to you?
The way she. Well, I was gonna say I don't know if I would know what opening up to somebody feels like, but
you get to decide. You get to decide as the player, though, if it felt like that. It's really more about whether or not.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So the nice thing about that is, if you get a 10+, you can also clear a condition of your own or put team in the pool. Doesn't really matter in this case. So. He thinks you opened up, so you can clear a condition or mark potential or shift your labels if you want to as well.
You
broke up a little bit, but I'm assuming you're...
I said I was going to... Yeah, I'm going to clear a condition because I have a little too many.
A few too many, yeah. So the thing is... so this is going on. You guys are kind of talking there, and he's still... Revenant's kind of running around. Perry's...
I'm just sitting next to her, drinking our Zima and petting the frog.
Perry's doing Perry stuff. And and what the fuck? It's my pocket frog. Who doesn't have a pocket frog?
I love Perry's doing Perry stuff.
Perry's doing Perry stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be a recurring
that's amazing.
thing.
It's just become this thing. Yeah, some of us aren't, and we see this shot, like your little monologue is kind of held up in a speech bubble in the next couple of frames, and the frames that we're seeing is sort of the work that's going on around you, the Aegis skies and this kind of thing, and like a low shot of the street, and we see like a point, like the kind of pointed boot that you only ever really see, like in comics it means that somebody's coming down out of the air and settling on the ground. You know what I mean? So he beat this big heavy boot, this boot come down, and the voiceover is for you is like, some people don't get their power, some people don't have anything, and other people have a tremendous amount of power. And the next shot we get is like, a manly hand like patting one of the Aegis guys on the shoulder, and him kind of turning and going, like the eyes get really big and like, kind of getting, out of the way kind of a deal. And as you're doing this whole monologue, you see this sort of progression thing where we see, the yellow boot come down and this blue and yellow costume. Are we good with this? Or I can't tell if you're like, God damn it, man.
No. Go
for it. All right. So, so as you're coming up with this thing and you're saying your stuff about, being afraid, and, it's like, well, I've been thrown through a wall. I'm not really afraid of anything. And you hear this voice of, it's like, oh, well, I mean, we all want to be heroes, but there's nothing wrong with people being a little bit afraid of you. I mean, that's really, when you have a lot of power, that's just part of the natural order of things. Hello, I'm Transcendent. I've been hearing very good things about you, and I thought I'd come down and say hello since I can see you from, and he kind of points, and like, it's not this building necessarily, and it's further in the distance, but I could see that there was a little bit of a hullabaloo. I thought I'd come down and say hello. Come down from the ivory tower, I suppose. How is everyone? How are you all doing? And he's looking specifically, I want to say, because he's kind of freezing you out a little bit, he's looking specifically at Clarity first, saying, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you, sir.
Yes. I've heard very good things. Sort of mind powers, telepathy, telekinesis kind of thing, right? Is that?
Yeah.
I've read the briefing. Yes. Yeah, I knew someone who had powers like that. They're not with us anymore, unfortunately. You want to stay out of space. If you lose your concentration at all, you're just dead, just like that. If you can't handle being in the void exposed and you don't have your mental powers up to keep the bubble around you, she just died. Oh, it was an awful thing. Very powerful up until that point in time, though. Really one of the big, well-known people in well, that was years ago, of course. But I think most people have probably forgotten her. Anyway, who's this? Who's this down here? Oh, you're dressed well. Who are you?
I look up from my notebook where I'm writing no space. Check.
Yes.
And I stand up and extremely polite. Like went to finishing school manners. Transcendent. Perry Driscoll. Call me Fractal. Very, very pleased to meet you.
Fractal, yes.
Obviously, trying to be polite as a veneer over the just complete, like, holy shit, it's Transcendent. Like, I've read so much about this guy.
You're going to want to straighten out your thought process a little bit. I think you need to kind of deep breaths, kind of need to hone that mind. It'll help you rise up above everyone. That's really what you need to be doing. And incidentally, just across the board, letting you know, he's trying to shift everybody's labels. So in the case of Clarity, it's freak up, mundane down. It's always going to be mundane down. Just assume that. That's Transcendent. Mundane down, always. Freak up, mundane down. For you, it's superior up, mundane down. And who's this colorful chap over here? The one running around. Hello.
Do I hear him, or am I just like, I'm just stoked? Like,
it's just like run up and give him a high five.
I'd hate for you to miss my. And he's kind of like, I'd hate for you to. He's like, no, you, yes, I believe it's Revenant. Come on over. I'd hate for you to miss my visit.
Okay, so
I'd hate for you to miss me.
I'm only like 2 months into the superhero game. I don't know really anything about these people, so I'm just gonna look to Birthright and just go, "Who's the old man?"
He's a piece of shit who makes a habit of showing up 15 minutes too late to do anything.
Oh, that's why we had to do the work, and he's just now showing up to take credit.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Cool.
That's kind of his gig.
There's this really, really weird high pitched, like really, really, really high pitched, painful sound. Perry, you're not actually hearing it. But the rest of you are. Birthright, you know what it is. He's grinding his teeth. And it's at a level that if it was one notch up, it's at a sound only dogs could hear. And sir, you could learn to be a little bit more respectful to your elders, especially
ones who learn to show up on time. We could have used your help back there. If you're here to help people, then actually help people. Otherwise, get away and let us do our job. And I'm going to lay back and put my feet up. I'm way too cocky for this.
Are you propping yourself up on tentacles or something? Or
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Revenant's on
hearing him grind his teeth, which I imagine he's continuing to grind his teeth after he sees him kick up. I'm going to be like, all that power, and you still let a couple teenagers get under your skin.
He kind of turns around slowly. Hello, son.
Oh, this is...
You gave up the right to tell me that a long time ago.
Still...
Just because I wasn't born with magic powers, you decide you'd rather be a superhero than be my dad.
Still cosplaying as Riot Police?
Still doing the job that you never could.
Well, this has been terribly enlightening. I hope things can go just as well for you going forward. Maybe the rest of the team will get together and you'll earn an invite to the tower one day.
That's fine and dandy. Before you go, let me ask you something. How many lives did you have to save to be able to sleep soundly at night knowing you never cared to be in your son's life?
I've lost track of how many people's lives I've saved. I'm sure the number was in there somewhere.
Good for you.
Can Mitzi like low-key hear thoughts?
Loki?
Not like Loki got a mission.
I know, Loki. I know.
Yeah, it's like because she's like sitting here just like watching this, and she's like, and she like pick up like emotions or feelings.
Are you saying
she's kind of like she's doing a little Snoopy Snoop.
Do you want to pierce the mask?
Yes.
All right. A little Snoopy Snoop.
Oh, Snoopy Snoop. Well, it's something mundane, and he hasn't shifted my labels yet.
Yeah, he hasn't shifted your labels yet.
Yeah.
We're getting up against the wire here for the time, but I'm good. Is everyone good to go for a little bit more as we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just getting good.
Yeah, I was like.
Can I ask a quick?
I had missed.
Sorry, no, let her. Sorry, after Mitzi's thing, I have a question.
It's fine. I missed it.
Go ahead and ask real quick, Frank.
Is Birthright's whole thing that he doesn't have powers?
Correct.
Or would I know that he has powers that he doesn't know about yet?
Answer hazy.
I don't want to screw up your character concept with that. You know what I mean?
What's the 8-ball response? Future hazy. Check back later.
Okay.
That you when you kind of try to think about the answer, you get multiple answers.
Okay.
Yep.
That
yes.
tracks.
No.
That tracks.
Realities where it could be possible.
Yeah, I can see a whole bunch of different.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yes.
I get it.
No. Maybe. Goldfish. Like it's really it's a rich tapestry of answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fish actually can ride a bicycle. Okay.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. Mark potential. Try not to level in the first session. You know what else happens a lot with Novas? They level a lot.
We fell on it.
I'm just saying. Okay, so
yeah, I think she's just staring there, just watching and like trying to pick things up, and nothing is able to focus. I think because that knock to the noggin probably like doesn't allow her to like really focus.
Okay, so as she's like they're all doing this, and I'm like sitting on, and like they're having their fight, they're doing all their things. I'm gonna mark another Doom track and have another dark vision of this dude right in front of me.
Okay. Okay. All right. So much happening. All right. Hang on.
You can wait till next time if you want.
No.
Let you like think about it.
No, I want to sort down through all the things. I'm not actually going to shift labels on Caleb on this because there isn't anything there for that because I don't think there was anything there in the exchange that would apply that. We're still aiming at that with Clarity. We're still aiming at that with Perry because he wants to go Superior up, Monday down. For Birthright, he wants to go Mundane up, Danger down. Because, I see. You're an asshole. Right. That kind of a deal. And pierce the mask. That doesn't really work the way I'd like it to work there. So 1 second. Yeah, I think this probably suits. The problem isn't that you don't do the powers. It's not that you can't read or anything like that. When you get Birthright, if you give her, I think we have a pretty good read on kind of but there's a lot of seething resentment, a whole history of being essentially abandoned, snippets, little flashes of the various relatives, aunts and uncles and blah, 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 or just maybe I'm not even sure maybe Aegis was ended up putting you up at various places, or if you were just sent to a series of boarding schools.
I kind of figured it was like foster home after foster home.
Yeah,
I didn't really flesh that part out.
That kind of a thing. But that kind of so you get flashes of that when you change the Searchlight over to Transcendent. I need you to take a powerful blow. It is a primal scream that you can hear from the moon. It is a fountain of rage that runs so at contrast to the face that's up here on the screen. And incidentally, wonderful job with this miniature. Thank you very much, Sean. But you've got this pleasant, smiling demeanor, and inside it's
Homelander.
It's Homelander. It's not quite Homelander, but
Yeah.
he is so angry. He is so angry right now at the sass. And this is the kind
Yes.
that you weren't ready for it. You just weren't. If you'd had your shields up, if you had your defenses up, no problem. Probably no problem. But not ready for it. It's like stepping out to see if there's anybody coming down the road and running straight into a semi that's coming.
Who is taking this powerful blow?
That would be
You are.
Clarity, who already has 3 conditions.
Wait, I am. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, that would be you, because you're
Yeah.
the one who's
I
got
thought
the
it was.
psychic.
I thought it was.
You thought it was the dark visions thing? Oh no, I haven't even gotten it.
Too.
That-
God.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I haven't even gotten to the dark visions yet.
All right, let's do this. Make a powerful blow.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh God.
oh no, oh no. I have a player in my Wednesday night game that absolutely hates Take a Powerful Blow because he's like 11. Oh shit! Like
Oh damn it. I have this sort of situation in another game that I play too called Chimera, which is another PTA game that's like, if you roll high on taking a powerful blow or whatever, it's a window.
It's a bad, yeah.
I think should I pass out.
Just pass out.
I think
Yeah.
I think she's like looking between the two and all of a sudden like just goes woozy and then she was still sitting on the curb, like I guess after her bashed up. Just gonna like her eyes are just gonna roll up in the back of her head and just like slumping against Perry.
So Perry, she kind of like her eyes kind of roll back in her head, kind of slumps over against you.
Okay, catch.
I like how the camera kind of like actually moves like, whoa, God, Jesus, like it actually looks like you're trying to juggle her.
That's exactly
very good.
I was it was out of frame, but I was moving my arms. I was doing the action.
Okay, that was very good. It was perfect. You get a dark vision, and then you get to ask me a question, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you see the city in flames, nighttime, billowing clouds, buildings burning, and Transcendent is just hanging in the sky looking down at the whole thing like, you people disgust me. We'll just leave that. Just have that, like, apocalyptic.
Good.
It's not even post-apocalyptic. It's apocalyptic. It is happening at the moment. And he's just looking down like...
Nothing.
Yeah. So...
Oh.
And he's stupidly powerful. He's stupidly powerful. He's like he's the guy that the writers write up, and then like 10 years later they're like, how can we even hurt this guy? Right. He's one of those guys. Anyway,
He's transcended past normal pay.
Yeah, he's transcended. Okay. Yeah, he's very humble too because of the name. You can tell.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to get to ask a question about the vision specific.
Sure.
Okay. Is this what he wants out of, like, is this his ultimate goal? Is this scene?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not. He's not like secretly working behind the scenes to destroy all of Halcyon City, but he also doesn't seem particularly. He doesn't seem particularly wound up about it either at this point. So yeah, that I'll give that as a solid no. He's not.
That's all I want to know. Is like he's not actively working towards this. This is not his goal.
Superman is not secretly Darkseid.
Yes.
He might be Lex Luthor. That's probably a bad example, but in any case, he's just a really bad dad.
I mean, yeah. I just want to make sure as long as his goal isn't to burn down the city, then I'm going to continue being sassy with
Not
him.
an immediate threat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What you don't understand is it's the sass that actually gets him to the point where it's like, look at what you made me do.
You know,
Right.
Great.
Okay. Okay. Whew. He is. So yeah, she slumps over. Clarity. I don't want to keep going to Charity. Clarity keeps slumps over against Fractal. Birthright is trying to like death stare him. And I keep thinking of those like the gamer chairs that come back. Like this one's put you up into sort of an upright thing where you're like staring at him and stuff, and your eyes have rolled back in your head. But he looks at Clarity like slumping over. He goes, "Oh, that's disappointing." And then he kind of whoosh, like does his little, his whole lift off thing, up and out of here. My
whole opinion of him just completely shifted.
Yeah, I turn around and I say, that's why you should never meet your heroes, guys.
The thing that you know from history is the winners get to write that, and Transcendent's a winner.
Yep.
He's a winner.
I think maybe I was given the wrong book.
All right. We're gonna if it's good with everybody, we're gonna stop right here, and we'll worry about
One second. I just need to grab something from my door. Hold on.
All right, great. No
Y'all
problem.
keep talking.
So we're gonna stop right here. We'll let the label shifts. We'll let the label shifts land next time, if that's okay.
Or we could even, if you want to, we could just. Do you want to resolve it in the chat, like during the week?
We can if you want. I actually, what I kind of want to do is kind of have a little moment right at the beginning where we flash back to the stuff that he said to you, and then watch whether or not it lands. So we start. We start the next comic book with you guys kind of flashing back on all the crap that Transcendent
last
said
time
to
on
you.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, last time. Which brings me, go ahead.
Does the team pool carry over, or do we start a fresh each session?
It depends on how much time has passed. If it's like if we stop in the middle of a fight and we start up the next time, the team pool doesn't reset. If it's been a week, it usually drops back down.
Okay.
So it'll usually reset. So yeah, that's a fluid thing. You'll find a lot of the stuff in Masks is pretty fluid. Speaking of previously on Dragon Ball Z, you'll see that there is a move in here that I've added that I use in here that, I don't know, I think I stole it from Brandon, honestly. But there's a custom move over here called the recap page that I throw out there when folks want it. At the beginning of the session, narrate that first page of the comic book, like what the panels look like and stuff for that previously on. Narrate the recap page summarizing the events of the previous session. If you do, choose one. If you narrate the page as your character, reality TV confessional style, choose two. Clear a condition and shift one of your labels up and one of your labels down. So maybe next session will be narrated by Clarity at the beginning. Or anybody, could be anybody, but I'm just saying the options are out there to do that kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of fun. We don't always use it, but sometimes people are like, hey, can I do the recap? Because I screwed up or whatever. I goofed.
You don't want Perry to do the recap of this one because it's going to be about everything that was happening on the edges.
Yeah, Perry's recaps
are
none
of the actual.
It'll be like the dude from Ant-Man who does all the recaps.
Yes,
exactly.
You said he was fine? He was super fine. Anyway, all right. So, where's that thing at? End of the session. All right, at the end of every session, choose one. So we're going to go around real quick. So take a look at the peripheral move sheet. It's a second thing there's a thing for the start of session. At the start of every session, GM adds team to the pool. At the end of the end of every session, choose one. You either grow closer to the team, explain who made you feel welcome, connected to the team, give influence to that character, and clear a condition or mark potential. Okay, cool option. Grow into your own image of yourself. Explain how you see yourself and why it's different than how you're showing up right now. Shift one label up and one label down. That's what happens. Grow away from the team. Explain why you feel detached. And take influence over you away from another character on the team. Okay? So we will start with one of the conscious people, and we'll start with Birthright.
Cool. I think that I would take Grow Closer to the team because
Okay.
now that I don't really have any more deep dark secrets, it's kind of forcing me to a point where I have to open up to them.
I'm sorry that we jumped right into that, but it just seemed like
I'm glad. It's like I wasn't expecting it to happen so soon, but I'm glad it did, and I think it was a cool moment. So
yeah. Excellent. Okay, so Grow Closer to the team. Who is getting the benefit of that particular thing?
probably Revenant because like he just immediately took my side without even knowing all that stuff. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, we don't like this guy. Yeah, we don't like this guy. Fuck him.
Revenant. Revenant is 100% ride or die.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, without thought or actually checking in on the context. Just
right.
Who are we fucking up, dude? I'm just ordering pizza. What? Dial it down. All right, so Revenant you already have influence over Revenant. So since you already have influence, and I'm sorry, I'm reversing it. Revenant, since you already have influence over Birthright, you get influence again. What that does is it lets you shift Birthright's labels one up and one down. Okay. And Birthright, you can either clear a condition or mark potential. Your option from feeling this connection.
I'm still afraid, right?
You're still afraid. No, you are still afraid. The conditions linger.
I'll clear that then.
Yeah. Conditions are one of the things that aren't fluid. They rarely reset. And if it's been like, well, dude, it's been a month. Yeah, you've been feeling shitty for a month. Welcome to high school.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty real.
Plus, like seeing demons come out of the chalkboard it's something that's probably gonna like linger in your nightmares for a while. So that's understandable.
You also did watch one of your good friends psychically pull out brain power from a giant demon. And another one hold reality. Like Mitzi literally held reality together for us, guys. I don't think we understand. Like
that was super clutch.
That was really, it was really
literally.
Good. I was thinking. I was thinking of the brain bugs from Starship Troopers, the pulsing little tendril.
I'm gonna. That's what I'm summoning next time. That's how that.
Great.
Don't give me ideas like this.
I was saying, are you clearing your condition of afraid, or are you picking up potential?
Yes. I'm clearing afraid.
Okay. You can either, and we do this a couple different ways. Andrew, you can either just, if you want to, you can reach in there and click one up and click one down. Just make sure there's a little addition box that tells you that the total is still 3. You can either do that, or you can just put it in chat and say, hey, Birthright, this up and this down, and let him do it.
Well, I'll let him do it because I don't actually like messing with other people's characters.
I understand.
Cool.
I've got a group that have been together for 4.5 years, and they don't touch each other's sheets still. And
now
2 of them are married to each other, and one of them is their kid, and they still don't mess with each other's sheets. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Now that I'm looking at it, though, I think I'm gonna actually stay afraid and take the potential because I really want to get some of those advances. So
that's fair, totally fair.
I'm gonna bring your mundane down and your superior up because
sounds good.
You got good at provoking people and getting them like setting us up. Like
I like it. Yeah, because you did that.
Just punk Superman.
It wasn't just that. You also immediately got in the face of the teacher too. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Frank, closer to the team, further away from the team, or more into your own image of yourself?
I mean, I'm holding Clarity, who passed out of my arms. I'm closer to the team.
Is that for Clarity then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Clarity, you already have influence, so same kind of deal. You can shift Perry's labels, one up, one down, and Perry, you can either clear afraid or you can take potential.
I think remaining afraid is the smart play here because she's not to be reckoned with, and I'll mark the potential.
Okay, sounds good.
Also, up to you. Would you count my interaction with Transcendent as reject someone who tells you shouldn't be here?
God, yes.
Okay.
Check that box.
Oof.
The beacon has, if you guys aren't familiar with that playbook, has basically a bucket list of superheroic stuff to do, and you get to pick from massive bucket list, the 4 that you're currently working on. Every time you check off 4 of them, then you get another potential. So yeah, some of those you're going to have to go hunting for. Some of them I'm going to throw right in your face. So that one, you're welcome, I guess. Revenant, closer to the team, further away from the team, more damage.
Oh wait, hold on. Before we get to Revenant, I gotta shift Perry's labels.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna do mundane up and superior down. I think you're be
That's
a
for
little
me?
more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You're going to be
more of a
more personable.
person.
More of a person. Less of a human computer that's fritzing randomly from power surges.
Okay, me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm definitely feeling closer to the team. I'm just stoked for what these guys can do. But I'm having a problem. Do I give the influence to Mitzi because she's tougher than all of us? Or do I give it to Birthright for taking crab tonfas and smacking a demon in the back of the head?
I mean,
okay, crab. I'm gonna go Birthright. Sorry.
When I say it out loud, it's obvious. It's got to be crab tonfas.
Yeah, it really. Sorry.
If you had made me guess what I thought was going to happen in session 1, crab tonfas would have been near the bottom. Yeah. So hold on.
I explained to my kids a while ago about the tendency in evolution to evolve into crabs. Like that's happened like 5 times over the course of crabs have evolved separately along the chain 5 different times, and to the point where it's frequent enough that they actually came up with a name for it, like this tendency to. Mm-hmm. For basically Mother Nature looking out there and going, what are you thinking about doing? I'm thinking crab. I'm thinking crab. You know what I'm thinking this time? Are you thinking crab? I'm thinking crab. And it's become this thing that we do around the house. Is like, so what do you want to do today? I don't know. I'm thinking crab. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Like, what do you want to do? Like swimming, biking? I'm thinking crab. That's not, we can't crab. We can't.
So I think for Revenant, I think we're going to boost your superior and knock your mundane down. Does that sound good?
You're going to boost my superior? I mean, all right.
Superior.
Or we could boost your freak, looking at it, if that's something you think you're going to use more often.
Freak.
Oh, I just think it's funny that you're like, yeah, looks like definitely after that situation, he got smarter.
I think the superior is superior is more like the
made sense for the session. Then it might make more sense to do freak.
I think freak could probably make it. Superior is sort of like the Batman planning stat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Nope.
3 steps
we'll
ahead.
We'll boost freak and knock mundane down then.
Okay.
And
I think that leaves clarity.
So I think she's closer to the team just because Birthright was sitting there, like, just comforting her for like a minute.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Birthright, you get to get it. We've had this sometimes where somebody's just a real central opinion and everybody gives them influence, or everyone gives them influence, and they spend like, hang on guys, I got it. Wait, who am I working on? And because they're shifting labels on everybody. Right. That kind of deal. So once again, take a look at her sheet, shift labels up, and you can clear a condition or gain potential for. Wait, did we do Birthright? We did Birthright too, didn't we? We've gotten everybody.
Yeah.
I've forgotten.
Sometimes. And the last one.
All right. So clarity. You can either clear a condition or take potential. It's up to you.
Oh, that condition I cleared earlier was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one I'm going to clear is... I'm still going to be afraid and insecure.
Okay. Gotcha. You broke up a little bit, but I've got it all in context. Like what was left at the end is like, oh, I know what you did there.
This is why I hate Discord. It always breaks me up. Like
just at the last second, like this, I'm losing only the important noun, that kind of... I'm definitely going to drop, and then I'm going to raise... and then I'm gonna that guy over there, and then after that I'm gonna run over and help. Like I'm gonna need you to say all of that again.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's the worst.
I'm thinking.
Crab.
I'm thinking crab.
Thinking
yeah.
crab.
So at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I think we should boost your freak because you did a lot of crazy power stuff in that last encounter, and then knocking down either maybe knocking down superior just because
Novas
staying
aren't really
alive
big on
something-
planning.
Yeah,
To be fair, Novas don't need to be big on planning.
right.
That's
Just
right.
to let you know, my all I have is a +1 to danger and a +2 to freak and nothing else right now.
You're good
Again,
at what you're good at.
I'm not saying that's just how they how Novas roll, but you're not really a Nova until you've got your freak at 3, your danger at 2, and your mundane at -2. Like then you are home. You are ready to go.
Getting there. We're getting there.
Nothing but a trash fire who can't help anybody else out either when it comes to the emotional stuff.
Fantastic. That's what we want.
My personal favorite is I've got a Nova. She's the penultimate as far as she's the ultimate Nova because she's being run by a 15-year-old. Her mundane is a -2, and she rolls around rocking the condition. What is the condition that hurts you with? I got to look in here now and remember what it is. Yeah. So she rolls. Basically, her resting state is angry. Okay. So her mundane is a -2. She's angry and she will not stop trying to comfort and support people. And she's rolling in with a -4 on every attempt. And she is so bad at it. And she just every single time I got to get in there. Oh yeah, I'm here. Give me a hug. Give me too hard. Anyway, okay. And with the last little scene here, last little moment, everyone's kind of sitting there, and people have kind of come together. We got Revenants come over. Birthright's kind of like a little bit of pacing, just a tiny little bit of pacing, just kind of almost rocking back and forth a little bit. Nobody's really saying or doing anything about the fact that Mitzi's sort of passed out, but Perry's just kind of got her there, and that kind of thing. And the camera keeps zooming in and zooming in. We got this little shot of them just kind of being together, and her, like Mitzi's eyes kind of blinking open a little bit, and just continuing to kind of get things together. And the camera continues to tighten in, and zoom in further, and pretty soon we're like looking right at like Perry's coat, and then it's a little bit closer, and we go down inside one of the pockets, and it's one of the frogs, and it's crawling around inside of the pocket, and getting this weird glowing chalk all over it, and that's the last thing we see.
Oh. Perry friggin' mystical frogs in her world.
Credit scene.
Awesome! I'm so excited.
Oh my god.
And we will. I'm going to stop recording. I didn't record. I forgot to hit record. That's fine. It's going up to YouTube, so I can get it from there. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So that's Mask. What's this game called? That's Mask. That's Mask. So for those of you who haven't played it before, that's pretty much how she do.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Loved that.
Maybe it isn't. I mean, maybe Mo's gonna come back and go, that's not how most people play Mask, dude. That's
You know what? I've only played one shots, and I've ran a mini campaign. I never actually played a campaign game. So.
Well, we're gonna see if we can hold it to continue to do that. The shortest I played in a one shot. I'm playing a relatively short game with my kids, but that's because their attention span is a 7-year-old, so it's limited by the 7-year-old. But that's okay. But yeah,
I feel like it doesn't serve one shots very well with how much character development is built into it.
You can really, if you go in there and everybody at the table has the mindset of like, this is a thing we're driving to, and everybody, and you get a really united kind of thing. Like you can easily do a one shot that's like, let's just do a really cool knockdown drag out fight, and you can do that because you can fill up a thing with that and like a little bit of weirdness and whatever. But yeah, you end up like that day on Tuesday when we save the city kind of thing, and you can get the mechanics of it. But a lot of the stuff that develops long term, like the Doomed, is kind of that's a long play, kind of deal to see that develop. Unless you drive for it really hard. I did the one shot. I managed to get I think I got 3 boxes filled on my actual, like I picked up 3 total Doom abilities. So I started with one and picked up 2 more during one session. So I picked up something, I think I marked my Doom track something like 17 times or something like that in about a 4-hour game. But I was trying, I was
You're
really,
driving like a stolen car.
I was like, yeah! Well, I was doing him as a speedster, and one of my abilities was literally getting around town really fast, and I was using Portal for everything.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think
No,
Sean has to go, right? Is it time for you to go?
Yeah, it's about
okay.
If you got to go, thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, any stuff you want to loop back on or anything like that, if you got,
I have
an
one
awesome
question.
What's
I
that?
have one question. So I have a passive move that it's at the end of every session. Did I make progress toward defeating my nemesis?
Count that as a yes.
Okay.
Because it showed up. Sometimes you're going to have a session that's going to go by and I didn't really do anything about it. Well, then we say no. In this case, Mom was on the radar. You found out some more stuff. So yeah, it still counts. We're all good.
We sent her minions back to her.
Yeah. So with that, thank you all very much. We will do Sunday next week. Same time. One more day out.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you all. This has been a ton of fun. Thank you so
much for running.
Yeah, this was awesome.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.